Chapter 25:31. The Divine Universe Goldstone is very useful. Qin Yun wants to use it to feed his Divine Sunday. Moreover, the Divine Universe Metal Stone contained a lot of energy. If this energy was used well, it would be very helpful in refining artifacts, planting herbs, and refining pills. The main reason why Qin Yun sold the unfettered smoke was to compete with the Divine Kingdoms. This was because the Divine Kingdoms were the overlords of the unfettered smoke in the Divine Wilderness. This would allow them to obtain large amounts of Divine Universe Goldstones. If the All Heavens Divine Kingdoms grew stronger, they would pose a great threat. Next, Qin Yun taught Nangong Shuiru how to refine Saint Dao Divine Pills. Actually, the most important thing is that Nangong Shuiru can duplicate the sacred Dao Divine Pills energy. Qin Yun can duplicate them, but Nangong Shuiru can't. However, Qin Yun has also thought of a method. He wants Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian to create Gemini Heavenly Rune and then have inscription masters cooperate with them. This way, they can use Gemini Heavenly Rune to duplicate the medicinal energy. As for the process of alchemy, it was still relatively difficult. Therefore, Qin Yun imparted some techniques to Nangong Shuiru. He also imparted some good tools to Nangong Shuiru. Nangong Shuiru learned from Qin Yun for half a day and has already mastered it. Now it will be up to pill masters to display their abilities. Shuiru, are the fruits of the Sun Divine Tree ripe? Qin Yun asked. Only 2 ripened. I already plucked them, Nangong Shuiru said. As she spoke, she took out 2 round fruits that emitted intense light and handed them to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun received it, he sensed a very miraculous fluctuation of divine power. I also don't know what use this fruit has. Nangong Shuiru lightly shook her head. I asked Sister Shang Yun and the other nobles of the clan, but none of them knew. It was Sister Yang who told me to ask you. Qin Yun looked at the 2 sun god fruits in his hands and said with a frown, Even Sister Yang doesn't know? She is the 9 suns divine lady. He glanced at Bing Xing. Bing Xing shook her head and said, Even though I'm the 9 sun goddess, I've never heard of the sun divine fruit. Ling Yuner said with a smile, Xiao Yun, I have a way to know what use this sun god fruit has. Tell me. Qin Yun said. Feed one to Yang Yang, she'll definitely know. Ling Yuner giggled and said, When this little girl sees this kind of fruit, she will definitely eat it. If you don't give it to her, she will definitely not say it. Qin Yun immediately released Yang Yang. This little girl had been sleeping inside the Divine Universe Purple Sunday. It seemed like she had already become the Divine Universe Purple Sun's Sun Soul. She is wearing purple-red clothes, her eyes are hazy and her hands are rubbing her eyes. Her appearance is extremely adorable. Nangong Shuiru can't help but caress her face. Bing Xing also gently caressed her little face and asked softly, Yang Yang, there is fruit to eat. Do you know what use this fruit has? Fruit? The sleepy Yang Yang immediately woke up. She widened her eyes and immediately saw the extreme sun divine fruit in Qin Yun's hand. Big brother, quick, give it to me. Yang Yang shouted excitedly as he jumped. Her current appearance made people unable to restrain their laughter. Here. Qin Yun gave her a Yang Yang and then gently caressed her cute little face. After Yang Yang took it, she opened her mouth wide and took a bite. She enjoyed it very much. She smacked her lips and kept saying, It's delicious. Yang Yang, what is the use of this fruit? Qin Yun asked. I'm not too sure either. In short, after eating it, I can become stronger. If it was any other living being that ate it, they might be able to cultivate the Divine Sun Heavenly Soul. Yang Yang took another bite and said, With the Divine Sun Heavenly Soul, my soul will be even stronger. Qin Yun said in amazement, How strong can it be? I don't know, your cultivation is different from mine. Anyways, after eating it, I will become stronger even faster and evolve into 9th Heaven Vermilion Bird. Yang Yang shook her head and said, Qin Yun believes that this extreme sun divine fruit might be helpful in cultivating heavenly spirit and heavenly soul. Therefore, he wants to put it inside the pill transformation heavenly furnace and refine it into a pill. There are still some on the sun divine tree, there will be more in the future. Nangong Shueru said. Sister Shueru, when the time comes, remember to leave 2 for me. Yang Yang said sweetly. I know. Nangong Shueru said with gentle smile. After Nangong Shueru mastered the method to refine sacred Tao divine pills, she hastily left to find Kong Feiqing. And Qin Yun told Bing Xing to find Jian Linglong. Jian Linglong is wearing a white inscription master robe. Her braid is hanging down in front of her chest. Her fair and beautiful goose egg-shaped face has a trace of faint majesty. However, her eyes are very gentle and beautiful, flowing with gentle ripples. Jian Linglong is Qin Yun's old friend. Although her name is Linglong, her stature is very tall, she is as tall as Qin Yun. This caused her to look very dignified. Inscription Gate's sect master, is our inscription gate still there? Jian Linglong said with smile. Of course it is. Did Yueme confer you the title of an elder? Qin Yun laughed loudly and said. Xiao Yueme conferred many titles to everyone in the inscription gate, he doesn't even remember them. Bing Xing said, Huashue and Yalan didn't come? They are inscription masters, they should have come to learn. Indeed, there is also Sister Lan, she is my disciple, she actually didn't come. Qin Yun also did not see Lan Fengjin, that slightly tanned and charming wild black pearl. They all think that they can't learn. After all, carving runes on people's body is very difficult for them. They don't have confidence that they can successfully carve runes on their sister's body. Jian Linglong said with smile. Let me do it, I am now the management inscription master of Divine Moon Clan. Sister Linglong is very responsible. Qin Yun said with smile. Those girls, they also want you to carve runes for those sword cultivator big sisters of Divine Moon Clan. Jian Linglong laughed and said, Those naughty girls are deliberately causing trouble for our clan emperor. Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. Then I must properly teach them a lesson. What about Jingmeng? She is also an inscription master, moreover, she has totem inscription spirit. Qin Yun obtained totem inscription spirit from Lu Jingmeng. Recalling this matter, he sighed endlessly. She is together with little Meiyan. These 2 little girls are fiddling with something, they didn't tell us, they only said that they want to give us a pleasant surprise. Jian Linglong said. Qin Yun took out tools and began imparting the technique of carving runes. He has mastered many runes and they are all evolved by Mo, the magical fairy. Jian Linglong also has Gemini treasure mirror, so she learned very quickly. What caused Qin Yun to be somewhat surprised is that she has also mastered space runes. Moreover, it is very good. Of course, she can't learn space heavenly rune because it is very difficult. Even Space God would need a very long time to master it. After being busy for more than half a day, Jian Linglong also grasped the main points that Qin Yun taught her. Before leaving, she did not forget to tease Qin Yun a few times. Nighttime, Qin Yun is soaking in a fragrant bath. This is originally the place where Yu Shang Yun used to soak. Bing Xing is also in the bath, she is leaning on Qin Yun's side. She finally has the opportunity to be alone with Qin Yun. Sister Bing Xing, thank you for accompanying me. It's really good to have you by my side. Qin Yun hugged Bing Xing's delicate body and kissed her face. I will leave tomorrow. Bing Xing faintly sighed, she is also very reluctant to part. She leaned on Qin Yun's chest and tightly hugged him. Is it the goddess's mission? Qin Yun said with a frown. What are you going to do this time? The northern part of the Divine Desolate is not cold enough. It will affect the climate of the entire Divine Desolate and cause the divine power of the Divine Desolate to be unbalanced. It will easily cause all kinds of extreme disasters to erupt, and it will also affect some natural formations. Bing Xing's soft arms hooked around Qin Yun's neck. Her eyes flickered with gentle ripples as she looked at Qin Yun and said, Bing Xing's charm is the most fatal, because when she is aroused, this kind of soul-captivating charm will naturally appear. It is not usually seen. It is like a charming and beautiful flower that suddenly bloomed in a world of ice and snow. At this moment, the fragrance on her body even overshadowed the wonderful fragrance of Yushang Yun in the bath. Qin Yun's entire soul was immediately intoxicated by this cold and beautiful yet incomparably charming flower. He could not help but kiss her beautiful red lips. The two of them forgot themselves and kissed passionately. Then they entered an incomparably intoxicated and sweet world of lovers. After a night, Qin Yun woke up from his bed. Bing Xing is sitting at the dressing table and combing her long hair. Sister Bing Xing, how long will you be gone this time? Qin Yun asked. I don't know. In any case, after it's done, I can rest. Furthermore, I can obtain the divine power bestowed by the divine sun and use it to increase my strength. Bing Xing also did not want to leave, but she had no choice but to leave. Are big sister Yang and the others doing these things? Qin Yun sighed. Yang Shiyu and the others are currently not here. Bing Xing nodded and said, This is also a way for us to become stronger. Oh right, you must bring Yu Tian back. It's not good for her to continue staying in the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. I contacted her and asked her to come back, but she refused. She said she had something important to do. Don't worry, I will bring her back. Qin Yun said, Oh right, if you contact Yushi, remember to ask her to come back. And, Xiao Yun, you don't have to worry about us. Divine Sun wants us to do things and will also protect us. Bing Xing said softly. I know. Qin Yun got up and put on his clothes because he can already sense that Shuiyu is outside. He picked up Bing Xing's clothes and helped her put them on. After Bing Xing put on her clothes, she kissed Qin Yun affectionately for a moment before walking out of the hall. Feng Yu and Shuiyu are both in the hall. When they saw Qin Yun and Bing Xing come out of the room, their eyes showed slight shock, but it quickly disappeared. I'm going out for a while. I'll leave Xiao Yun to you guys. Bing Xing warned. Don't worry, we will take good care of the clan emperor. Shuiyu chuckled and said, Bing Xing, you have to take care of yourself outside. And Bing Xing smiled gently, then hugged Shuiyu and Feng Yu before leaving. Feng Yu and Shuiyu both know that Bing Xing is the Nine Sun Goddess and has a mission as a goddess. Therefore, she has to go out for a period of time from time to time. After Bing Xing left, Feng Yu said, Hui Yu, Bing Yu, Lei Yu and Mu Yu are very stubborn and refuse to talk outside. Then we won't see them. I think they should be even more anxious to talk to us. Qin Yun said with a smile. Anyway, we won't lose anything if we don't see them. Chapter 25-32. Just let us handle the heavenly creation divine palace. We now have many divine heaven lords, our overall strength is not weak. Shuiyu did not want Qin Yun to overwork himself. Shuiyu, when Sister Shang Yun was here, I didn't see you guys being so diligent. You only know how to stay in your room all day. Feng Yu giggled and said, When Sister Shang Yun comes back and knows how good you are to the clan emperor, I wonder how she will feel. Shuiyu curled her lips and said, The clan emperor wants to cultivate. Furthermore, he just became the clan emperor not long ago, so we naturally have to reduce his burden. Qin Yun said with a smile, Leave the matter of going to the heavenly creation divine palace to me. All of you can stay in Divine Moon Heavenly City at ease. You guys have more important things to do, that is to try your best to earn more divine cosmic golden stones. Clan Emperor, are you going to the heavenly creation divine palace by yourself? Shuiyu immediately stepped forward and pulled Qin Yun's hand. She also wanted to go. In the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City, only you two kings are here. Of course you have to stay. Qin Yun said with a smile. Alright. Shuiyu thought about it and knew that Qin Yun was doing this for their own good. You guys continue talking to those four. If they agree to meet outside the Heavenly Sword formation, then call me along. Qin Yun said, I want to see what kind of medicine they are selling in their gourd. Feng Yu said, Clan Emperor, the strength of the Heavenly Creation Divine Palace is not weak. Are you really going by yourself? Of course not. I will go to the Nine Yang Divine Palace and call for a few helpers. Qin Yun said. It was time for the big shots of the Nine Yang Divine Palace, who had just become Divine Heaven Lords, to find an opportunity to go out and train. Feng Yu and Shuiyu almost forgot that Qin Yun is the Nine Yang Palace King. When they thought that Qin Yun would go to the Nine Yang Divine Palace to call for help, they felt even more relieved. After Shuiyu and Feng Yu left, Qin Yun immediately started making the teleportation array. He has the spatial heavenly rune and many good quality transcending space divine stones. It is very fast to make a teleportation array. The teleportation array that Qin Yun made is not very big. At most, it can teleport a few dozen people, which is enough for them to use. The teleportation formation was placed near the Nine Yang Temple, and could absorb the energy of the Heavenly Sword formation to operate. However, if one wanted to stabilize it, they would need some divine cosmic gold stones every time they teleported. This teleportation array only led to the Myriad Worlds Divine Court. Therefore, Qin Yun made a trip to the Myriad Worlds Divine Court and got the Spatial God to arrange a safe and reliable secret chamber in the Divine Court's Heavenly City to place his teleportation array. In this way, if he wanted to go out in the future, he could use this teleportation formation to go to the Divine Court Heavenly City first. The Space God is very interested in Qin Yun's teleportation formation, especially those runes. When he came into contact with Qin Yun's teleportation formation, he jumped in fright. Little brother, where did you get these runes? Space God scolded with smile. You have such good runes, yet you still want them from me. Old brother, this is a space heavenly rune. I fused many kinds of sun, moon and star runes with the space runes you gave me and created it. Qin Yun said with smile. Without your space runes as foundation, I wouldn't have been able to create this space heavenly rune. Spatial heavenly pattern? Looks like I won't be able to learn this. After all, you are the one who created it. It definitely doesn't conform to my logic. Space God shook his head and said with smile. In his heart, he is extremely shocked. Qin Yun can actually create his own heavenly rune. The teleportation formation Qin Yun placed in the Divine Court's Heavenly City is in the Space God's Villa. It is very safe. There is a teleportation formation in the Divine Court's Heavenly City that leads to the Heavenly Divine Moon, so it is very fast to go there. Qin Yun also made some sound transmission divine pearls. He gave one to the Space God and the Nameless Old Man. This is much better than the communication talismans from before. The Space God gave Qin Yun a teleportation pearl before, but now it has been severely damaged and can no longer be used. This teleportation pearl cannot be used indefinitely, it has a lifespan limit. Qin Yun also plans to make some teleportation pearls. This is a very convenient thing. What made him feel somewhat helpless is that the transcending space divine stones are almost used up. In order to make that stable teleportation formation, he used up a lot of transcending space divine stones. The remaining transcending space divine stones in his hands are only enough to make one teleportation pearl. After Qin Yun came to the Divine Court's Heavenly City to set up the teleportation formation, he immediately returned to the Divine Moon Heavenly City to make the teleportation pearl. Shuiyu and Feng Yu also have the sound transmission divine pearls that Qin Yun gave them. If they have any problems in the future, they don't need to directly look for Qin Yun. When Qin Yun was making the teleportation pearl, he learned that Bingyu, Huiyu, Leiyu and Mu Yu had all agreed to meet outside the Heavenly Sword formation. The time was set to be 3 days later. At that time, Shui Yu or Feng Yu would go out with Qin Yun and meet with the four to talk. They don't need too many people because they don't know what the four's goal is. Qin Yun finally received news from Jiang Jiuquan. Previously, he had asked Jiang Jiuquan to set up a trap and lure divine King Jiang Xian to a place with few people. It was not easy to catch an old fox like divine King Jiang Xian when he was alone. Jiang Jiuquan told Qin Yun that divine King Jiang Xian had already fallen for the trap. Jiang Jiuquan pretended to want to make a deal with Qin Yun, saying that Qin Yun wanted to use the Star Lord inscription spirit to exchange for the transcending space divine stone. This matter was set up by Jiang Jiuquan and Jiang Daliang. Now divine King Jiang Xian is going to personally snatch it. Star Lord inscription spirit is a very precious thing to inscription masters. Even if they have an inscription spirit, as long as there is an opportunity, they will do their best to obtain it. Qin Yun and Jiang Jiuquan agreed to a place to pretend to trade. Moreover, Qin Yun asked Jiang Jiuquan to confirm that the emperors will not bring people over. After making the teleportation pearl, Qin Yun is very satisfied. After all, this teleportation pearl is made from many materials and the condensed space divine power is also from the little queen ant. The little queen ant is a space Xian ant queen. It can bring Qin Yun great convenience. Especially when using the teleportation pearl, it can create a more stable teleportation channel. The Space God's teleportation pearl can only record one teleportation point. Qin Yun's teleportation pearl can record 2 teleportation points. If there are enough materials, the density of the teleportation pearl will increase, and the number of teleportation points will increase. 2 days passed by. Qin Yun gradually adapted to the Divine Moon Heavenly City. However, he still doesn't dare to run around. He usually hides in the Guanghan Palace. In the past few days, Nangong Shuuru has also refined Holy Dao Divine Pills. Although the quality is not very good, at least she can refine them. In the past 2 days, Qin Yun has met many old friends in the Guanghan Palace. Especially his sisters, for example, Qi Meilian, Gu Qiufei and Lu Jingmeng. Shui Weiwei, Feng Honglan and the others discussed the matter of planting free and unfettered divine grass with Qin Yun. Qin Yun wants them to try and plant a large amount of free and unfettered divine grass. After all, this thing can be exchanged for many divine universe golden stones. At night, after the divine moon came out, Feng Yu and Shui Yu arrived at Qin Yun's room. Those guys, I don't know what kind of intentions they have for meeting me at night. Feng Yu said with low groan. Don't be afraid of them. Oh, that's right, who wants to go out with me? Qin Yun said. Let's go out together. Shui Yu said. Anyway, we are just outside the Heavenly Sword formation, what kind of danger can there be? Then again, even if something happens to us, Xianqin and the other Divine Moon Heavenly Daughters will be able to take charge of the situation. Moreover, the other 3 dukes are going out. They are on their way back. Alright then, let's go out. Qin Yun took out the transmission pearl and said, Grab my arm, I will directly teleport out. You can directly teleport out like this? Is it that awesome? Feng Yu said in amazement. Clan Emperor is truly awesome. Shui Yu promptly grabbed Qin Yun's arm and said with charming smile, Clan Emperor, I feel that you are much more awesome than Sister Shang Yun. When Sister Shang Yun comes back, she can temporarily retire, and you can be our clan emperor. Feng Yu slapped Shui Yu's butt and said with smile, Shui Yu, if Sister Shang Yun knew, she would be angry. Feng Yu also grabbed Qin Yun's arm. Qin Yun activated the transmission pearl and arrived outside the Heavenly Sword formation in a flash. Feng Yu is already wearing her fiery red phoenix armor. Her long hair is tied into a ponytail, she is ready for battle. Shui Yu is wearing light blue soft armor but her hair is still disheveled. Qin Yun is wearing ash-white clothes, a sky hat and a pair of heaven-treading divine boot. This equipment looks very ordinary but it is extremely dreadful, It can block all kinds of formidable heavenly thunder. They are on the east side of the heavenly sword formation. Feng Yu said. That's not far from here. Qin Yun is not afraid at all because this place is like his home. If he can't beat them, he can directly enter the heavenly sword formation. At night, the sword forest mountain desert, the desert and the huge sword mountains are dyed a faint silver under the heavenly divine moon. Especially the desert, it is like a soft silver beach. From time to time, a cool breeze would blow over. Moments later, Qin Yun and the others saw a strong light flickering in front of them. Waves of powerful divine heaven lord aura surged from time to time. They're right there. It seems like they've been waiting for us for a long time. Feng Yu said. There are at least 100 people over there. Furthermore, there are more than a dozen beasts the size of small hills. From time to time, the flashing multicolored light is emitted from the eyes of the giant beast. The people beside the giant beasts are all wearing strange clothes. It can be seen that they are wearing 4 different styles of clothes. Those who are wearing white ice armor are from the Ice Moon Divine Clan. Their entire bodies are covered in fire. They are definitely from the Fire Moon Divine Clan. Their clothes are made of tree bark and green leaves. Without a doubt, they are from the Wood Moon Divine Clan. They look very shabby. The most powerful one is still the Thunder Moon Divine Clan. They are all wearing cloaks made of lightning, and under their feet, it is as if they are trampling on lightning. Their auras are extremely strong. When the 4 Moon clansmen saw someone approaching, they immediately became vigilant. Are you from the Divine Moon Clan? Someone shouted from the other side. I am Duke Feng Yu. Feng Yu said, I was the one who was in contact with you all the time. Where's your clan emperor? A middle-aged man from the Fire Moon Divine Clan shouted. Then where's your clan emperor? Feng Yu also shouted. It's not convenient for our clan emperor to come. The middle-aged man sneered and said, Didn't your clan emperor not appear either? Shui Yu sneered and said, Our clan emperor is here but your clan emperor is not. Are you playing with us? Chapter 25-33. Qin Yun was somewhat speechless. He was actually thought to be a tomboy. He suddenly felt that he should learn from Yu Shangyun and wear black armor. There were not many people who had seen Yu Shangyun before, and it was rumored that she was a great beauty. However, there were very few people who had seen Yu Shangyun. Only the women of the Divine Moon Heaven City had seen Yu Shangyun. This was mainly because whenever Yu Shangyun went out, she would always wrap herself up tightly. When Shui Yu heard the other party call Qin Yun a tomboy, she almost laughed out loud, but she held it in. Qin Yun immediately took out a mask and put it on so that the other party wouldn't call him a tomboy again. This is our clan emperor. Our clan emperor is here but your clan emperor is not here yet. Are you guys that untrustworthy? Feng Yu said. Rumor has it that the Divine Moon Clan's emperor is a peerless beauty, but the clan emperor you speak of is unbearable to look at. Who knows if you are just randomly finding someone to fool us? The middle-aged man from the Fire Moon Divine race looked at Qin Yun with a puzzled expression. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. He was actually unbearable to look at. Previously, when he was in the Divine Moon Heaven City, those young ladies all called him a handsome guy. And in the eyes of these fellows, why was he unbearable to look at? Shui Yu secretly held Qin Yun's hand to comfort him. However, she held back her laughter and nearly suffered internal injuries. Who are you calling unbearable to look at? Qin Yun said angrily. Damn, why is your clan emperor's voice even more manly than mine? The middle-aged man from the Fire Moon Divine race jumped in fright and took a few steps back. Feng Yu hurriedly stepped forward and said, Our clan emperor is here. What do you want to talk about? Hurry up and talk. The people on the other side had faces full of suspicion, because Qin Yun's voice just now sounded like a man's. Is that person your clan emperor? The middle-aged man asked again. Let's get to the bottom of this first. Our clan emperor is not feeling well and has yet to recover from his injuries. That's why he's acting strangely. Then how do you think we can prove that our clan emperor is real? Shui Yu asked with a smile. The middle-aged man thought for a moment and said, very simple, the Divine Moon Clan Emperor can refine Saint Dao divine pills. If she can refine a sage Dao Dan on the spot, then we will believe that this is true. An old man from the Thunder Moon divine race nodded his head. That's right, only the Divine Moon Emperor can refine a sage Tao Dan, no one else can learn it, we know this. Doesn't that mean that the refined sage Dao Dan will be given to you to verify? Feng Yu laughed coldly. You guys plan to cheat us of a sage Dao Dan. Do you know how precious a sage Dao Dan is? I naturally know that the sage Tao Dan is very expensive. If you guys can refine it, we are willing to use Divine Universe Golden Stone to buy it. The price is negotiable, the middle-aged man from Fire Moon Divine Race said. A pill that could allow someone to quickly cultivate the saintly heavenly Tao image was naturally precious. It was said that after eating the Sage Tao God pill, there was a chance that the Divine Calamity Gate would appear when the Tao idol evolved into the Sage Heavenly Tao idol. This was why the Heavenly Tao statue was so precious. Even if it was someone who had long passed the Saint God realm, once they reached the Tao God realm or became a Shin Tian Lord, they would be able to cultivate the Sacred Tribulation Gate by eating the Saint Tao God pill. The Four Moon Clan, the Heaven Creation Divine Palace, and the Divine Nations of the Heavens, they all knew very well that only Yu Shangyun could refine this Saint Tao God pill. Feng Yu and Shueiyue are very relieved because Qin Yun would definitely be able to refine it. They are just worried that it would take a lot of time, because whether it was Yu Shangyun or Nangong Shuiru, when they went to refine the Saint Tao God pill, they consumed a lot of energy. Especially Yu Shangyun, every time she refined pills, she needed someone to take care of her. Refining a Saint Tao God pill is very difficult. Shueiyue coldly snorted and said, Do you want me to refine it for you to see on the spot? Qin Yun waved his hand and took out the pill transformation heavenly furnace. He opened the pill transformation heavenly furnace and indicated that there was nothing inside. At this time, from the Four Moon Clan's side, some elders walked over one after another. They carefully looked inside the pill transformation heavenly furnace and nodded repeatedly. These few elders all have a faint medicinal smell on their bodies. It can be seen that they are people who often deal with medicinal pills. They should be alchemists. The Four Moon Clan actually sent alchemists. Clan Emperor, don't fall for their trick. Refining a Saint Tao God pill consumes a lot of energy, people will take advantage of it, Feng Yu said in a low voice. Qin Yun slightly shook his head and did not say anything else. Instead, he took out a few bottles. He opened the bottles and drew out a few different colored medicinal liquid. The medicinal liquid is like a ribbon as it was drawn into the pill transformation heavenly furnace by Qin Yun. Shueiyue and Feng Yu immediately looked at each other in dismay, because when Yu Shangyun was refining the Saint Tao God pill, it was not like this. The people from the Four Moon Clan's side all stretched their necks and watched with wide eyes. They even took out some tools to record the process of refining the pill. Of course Qin Yun is not afraid of them secretly learning, this is something they can't learn. The medicinal energy in those bottles were all copied by Qin Yun. Later on, when he was with Yu Shangyun, he obtained even more details about the Saint Tao God pill from her. As long as energy entered the pill transformation heavenly furnace, it would operate and refine everything inside into a pill. Of course, the premise was that he had to send enough energy to the pill transformation heavenly furnace from the outside. The amount of energy needed to refine sacred Tao divine pills was not much, especially for Qin Yun who had cultivated 9 sacred heavenly Tao images. It was a piece of cake. Originally, Qin Yun would have been able to refine the Saint Tao God pill very quickly, but in order to pretend that it was difficult, he deliberately used an hour. An hour later, Qin Yun opened the lid and a faint and wonderful fragrance wafted out. Of course, this was not the fragrance of Yu Shangyun's body. It was a fragrance that Qin Yun had added. In order to have the original fragrance of Yu Shangyun's body, he needed to add her fragrant blood. Although it did not have the wonderful fragrance of Yu Shangyun's body, the fragrance that Qin Yun had added was enough. According to the rumors, Yu Shangyun was a woman with a natural fragrance on her body. Therefore, the moment Qin Yun opened the pill furnace, the 4 Moon Clan members all took a deep breath. When Feng Yu and Shueiyue smelled the fragrance, they knew that it was not Yu Shangyun's body fragrance. However, they knew that Qin Yun could really refine Saint Tao God pills. However, they were still very puzzled because Qin Yun had done it too quickly and it did not look like he had expended any effort. Previously, when they accompanied Yu Shangyun to refine pills, they were very tired and worked very hard to refine a batch of pills. A pale white pill floated out of the pill furnace, releasing a very intense multicolored light. It looked like a resplendent pearl, shining with a fantastical and gorgeous light. Regardless of whether it was the pill fragrance or the visual effect, this pill was a peerless divine pill. It looked extremely good. This was all done on purpose by Qin Yun in order to fool the group of people in front of him. The Saint Tao God pill has been refined. How many divine universe gold stones are you willing to pay? Feng Yu asked. 500. The middle-aged man from the Fire Moon divine race hurriedly shouted. Qin Yun secretly transmitted his voice to Feng Yu and Shueiyue, telling them to provoke the leaders of the 4 Moon Clan and let them compete in the auction. He also told them how to provoke them. When Shueiyue and Feng Yu heard Qin Yun's voice transmission, they secretly gained a new understanding of this clan emperor. Originally, refining a Saint Tao God pill would take several days. However, in order to seize the time, our clan emperor used enough medicinal liquid and added a large amount of her blood essence to quickly condense the pill. Feng Yu said. Therefore, this pill is not an ordinary Saint Tao God pill. You should also be able to tell that this pill is extraordinary, right? Shueiyue sighed. Originally, this pill should not be given to you. However, in order to prove himself, the clan emperor can only sell it to you. Guys, Feng Yu said, since all of the Moon Clan's clan emperors are the sons of the Mother Moon, then we can be considered allies. We will sell this pill to you cheaply. 1,000 divine universe gold stones, the highest bidder will get it. This was what Qin Yun had taught them. The people of the 4 Moon Clan had definitely never eaten a Saint Tao God pill before, so they naturally could not distinguish between good and bad Saint Tao God pills. They only knew that eating a Saint Tao God pill was useful, especially when it could raise a single Tao image. 2,000. The voice of the middle-aged man from the Thunder Moon divine race was like thunder. 3,000. The Fire Moon divine race was unwilling to be outdone. 5,000. The old man from the Wood Moon divine race, who looked rather shabby, said indifferently. 6,000. The Ice Moon divine race's side sneered. Feng Yu continued, this Saint Tao God pill is of extremely high quality. After eating it, you might be able to cultivate the sacred tribulation gate. You should all know that our Divine Moon Clan's Saint Tao God pills are never sold outside. 10,000. When the middle-aged man from the Thunder Moon divine race heard that it was possible to cultivate the sacred tribulation gate, he roared again. Following that, the leaders of the 4 clans fought until their faces were flushed red as they continuously increased the price. In the end, the old man from the Wood Moon divine race took it for 130,000 divine universe gold stones. This amount of divine universe gold stones was an astronomical figure to Feng Yu and Shueiyue. They knew that there were a large number of divine universe gold stones on the divine moon, but they had no idea. 130,000 divine universe gold stones were the size of rice grains and were placed in a special storage box. I can't give this storage box to you, it's very expensive. The cost is extremely high. You are the emperor of the Divine Moon Clan, You should be able to store these 130,000 divine universe gold stones, right? The old man said. Qin Yun gently waved his hand, and the 130,000 divine universe gold stones in the box suddenly floated out. Like fireflies that filled the sky, they scattered in the air and formed a river of light that floated towards Qin Yun. In the blink of an eye, all of the divine universe gold stones entered Qin Yun's 9-yang divine spirit. This scene caused the 4 Moon clan members to be dumbstruck, because those 130,000 divine universe gold stones were extremely heavy. But now, with a casual wave of someone's hand, they gently floated up. This kind of power was simply unimaginably strong. Greetings, Emperor of the Divine Moon Clan. The old man from the Wood Moon divine race hurriedly knelt down on one knee. At this moment, he had also obtained the Saint Tao God pill. Although he did not eat it, he could clearly feel the natural Tao aura contained within it. It was extremely mysterious. Greetings, Emperor of the Divine Moon Clan. The others also knelt down on one knee, because just now, they had all witnessed the power of the clan emperor in front of them. If those floating divine universe gold stones were to be controlled and smashed towards them, the destructive power would be extremely terrifying. Chapter 25-34. Strength was king. The reason why this group of people were so respectful to the Divine Moon Emperor was because they saw Qin Yun reveal a few moves earlier. The Saint Tao pill that the old man from the Wood Moon divine race bought was also appraised to be real. It was indeed of extremely high quality. Not to mention being able to refine Saint Tao pills, he could also easily control a large number of divine universe golden stones to float. There was also a very small storage magic treasure that could hold divine universe golden stones. Just based on these points, he was one of the best in the entire God-desolate land. At this moment, the 4 Moon clansmen suddenly felt that the emperors of the heavens clamoring to marry the emperor of the Divine Moon clan were simply toads lusting after swan meat. What do you want? Speak quickly, Feng Yu said again, because it was these 4 Moon clansmen who had invited them out to talk. About this, the few of us want to have a private discussion with the Emperor of the Divine Moon clan, the old man from the Wood Moon divine race said in a low voice. Soon after, the leaders of the Fire Moon divine race and the Thunder Moon divine race walked out. They were all middle-aged. The leaders of the Wood Moon divine race and the Thunder Moon divine race were old men. The leaders of the 4 clans all had solemn expressions. Emperor of the Divine Moon clan, the matter we want to discuss with you in secret is extremely important. Outsiders cannot be around. The old man from the Wood Moon divine race said in a deep voice. This matter is indeed of great importance, and it concerns the safety of the Divine Moon clan. Qin Yun waved his hand and released the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. The 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda became a pitch-black square building. It looked inconspicuous, so no one recognized it. Let's talk inside, Qin Yun deliberately said in a hoarse voice. Although he gave the few leaders a strange feeling, they didn't say anything because they had all seen the power of the Divine Moon clan's emperor just now. Feng Yu and Shueiyue also followed them in, but they were on the first floor. Qin Yun brought the 4 leaders to the second floor. Speak, Qin Yun said. The 4 leaders were still worried. They took out some array flags and set up various enchantments to prevent news of them from leaking out. Emperor of the Divine Moon clan, to be honest, the emperors of our 4 clans won't come at all. The middle-aged man from the Fire Moon divine race said, We have already betrayed them. Why? Qin Yun's voice was calm, but he was secretly alarmed. Because of our clan emperor, they have all sided with the heaven-creating God Palace and the divine nations of the heavens, colluding with them. The middle-aged man from the Thunder Moon divine race said angrily. As for us, we will join the myriad worlds' divine court. That's why we arranged to meet you at the divine court's heavenly city. That way it'll be safer, the Wood Moon divine race's elder said. Qin Yun nodded and asked in a hoarse voice, "Is that all you wanted to talk about?" "Of course not. The important matter we are talking about is something else. Out of the 5 kings of the God Moon clan, 2 of them are traitors," the old man from the Wood Moon God clan said in a low voice. Qin Yun was alarmed, but he did not believe it. He asked again, "What evidence do you have?" The middle-aged man from the Fire Moon God race shook his head. "We have no evidence. We only know that the 2 spies were planted by Mu Yu. Moreover, these 2 traitors are in contact with the Heaven Creation Deity Palace and the God's Nation. Some time ago, they even met with the 4 emperors of our clans." "Which 2 kings?" Qin Yun asked again. Even if he couldn't be sure if it was true or not, it was still good to be on guard. "Dark Moon King and Blood Moon King," the old man from the Ice Moon Divine race said. "It's up to you whether you believe it or not. In any case, even if we tell you, we have no evidence to prove it. But we are sure that the 2 of them are traitors and will definitely harm the God Moon clan." "Why do you want to talk to me alone? Feng Yu and Shueiyue are down there, can't you tell them?" Qin Yun said again. The old man from the Wood Moon Divine race shook his head. "The 5 of them grew up together and are as close as sisters. They have never suspected each other. I'm afraid that they won't believe us and will attack us." "Then what do your 4 clan emperors plan to do next?" "As far as I know, they escaped from the moon's heart without fighting," Qin Yun said. They indeed escaped without fighting. If we knew, we definitely wouldn't have escaped with them. But those bastards didn't even tell us and directly took us away from the moon's heart." Speaking of this matter, the old man from the Ice Moon Divine race was very angry. "My child is still in the moon's heart. The other 3 leaders are also filled with grief and anger. The 4 of them definitely want to fight with you, Emperor of the Divine Moon clan, to snatch the Divine Moon of the heavens. That's why they want to borrow the power of the Heaven Creation Divine Palace and the Divine Nations of the heavens," the middle-aged man from the Fire Moon Divine race said. "You guys go back first. If there's anything, contact me again." Qin Yun paused for a moment and said, "When you want to find me, just take this talisman and go to the Divine Court City to find the nameless old man." "Got it." The old man from the Wood Moon Divine race seems to have a rather high status, so he handed the talisman over to him. "Oh right, Emperor of the Divine Moon clan, regarding the matter of the traitor, it's best if you don't tell the other princes," the old man from the Wood Moon Divine race said. Qin Yun only nodded, then walked down the first floor with them and sent them off. After the 4 Moon clan people left, Feng Yu and Shueiyue immediately asked Qin Yun what they discussed in secret. They received news that the 4 Moon clan emperors want to join hands with the Divine Nations and the Heaven Creation Divine Palace to fight for control of the Divine Moon. "This is also within my expectations." Qin Yun sighed and said, "No matter what, I will take a trip to the Heaven Creation Divine Palace." Qin Yun gave Feng Yu and Shueiyue a portion of the Divine Universe Golden Stone. They will properly use it to benefit the entire Divine Moon clan. After returning to the Divine Moon Heavenly City, Qin Yun hastily returned to the Guanghan Palace. Then he took out the Sound Transmission Divine Pearl and contacted Bing Xing. Sister Bing Xing ran so far so quickly? Qin Yun cannot immediately contact Bing Xing. The main reason is because the distance is too far. Moreover, there might be something interfering with space in her current location. He thought for a bit and asked Little Phoenix to find Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoxue. It is highly possible that there is a traitor in the Divine Moon clan. Although Qin Yun doesn't believe it to be true, he would rather believe it to be true. This is also for the sake of safety. He cannot talk about this matter with the Divine Moon clan's women. Therefore, he can only find people he can trust in the Guanghan Palace. Moreover, they usually don't have much contact with the 2 princes. Xiao Xianqin and Yu Wulan are Qin Yun's most trusted people. Now they are Divine Moon heavenly daughters, they must have frequent contact with the 2 princes. Therefore, he cannot let them probe. Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua immediately rushed to Guang Han Palace's fragrant charm pavilion. This is Yu Shangyun's residence, it is now Qin Yun's residence. Xian Rujing is often together with Xian Lingxue inside the Guang Han Palace. Xian Lingxue is her clone, but she has her own personality. Xian Lingxue also knows about this matter, so she made them even closer. Yi Yaoshua is often together with Yu Shutian and others because they have been together for a very long time. Xian Rujing is wearing very skimpy clothes, she is wearing very short white muslin skirt, perfectly revealing her slender jade-like legs. Her upper body is simply wrapped around her chest, revealing her slender waist and navel. Yi Yaoshua is wearing white-blue skin-tight clothes. After she arrived, she poked Xian Rujing's jade-like waist and scolded with smile. Sister Rujing, you know Xiao Yun is looking for you, you dress like this. Xian Rujing is ice and snow goddess, normally she is cold and arrogant, she is as pure as ice and as clean as jade. Now she is wearing this kind of seductive attire, it can be said that it is very rare. In any case, this is Guang Han Palace, it doesn't matter if I don't wear it. Xian Rujing lightly smiled, arrived beside Qin Yun and directly leaned on his body. Her charming eyes flickered with tenderness as she said in delicate and soft voice, Xiao Yun, I missed you so much. Yi Yaoshua is not to be outdone, she arrived beside Qin Yun and also leaned on his body. She slept with Qin Yun not long ago and used her mysterious fusion heavenly rune to help Qin Yun stabilize the loose Tao image and mysterious divine veins in his body. I have important matter to discuss with you. Just as Qin Yun finished speaking, Yi Yaoshua kissed him, she is one step ahead of Xian Rujing. Qin Yun immediately let Ling Yuner come out, otherwise he won't be able to deal with Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua. After Ling Yuner, this long-legged immoral fairy came out, Qin Yun somewhat regretted it, this fairy is simply causing trouble. When Xian Rujing saw Qin Yun release his snow fairies, she also released her 2 snow fairies. Qin Yun suddenly recalled that he has urgent matter to discuss with Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing. He said, I already said I have important matter to discuss with you. Look at how you are tormenting me, I almost forgot about the important matter. Yi Yaoshua mumbled, I also want to cultivate fairy. Sister Rujing, you let out 2 snow fairies, this is too much. Alright, I will teach you cultivation. Xian Rujing chuckled and said, How much do you know about Dark Moon Marquis and Blood Moon Marquis? Qin Yun asked. Dark Moon Marquis. I feel that she speaks very little. I have very little contact with them, I also don't know much about them. Yi Yaoshua slightly frowned and shook her head. I have met with Blood Moon Marquis, they are very beautiful but just so. Xiao Yun, what about them? Xian Rujing asked. Qin Yun waved his hand and said, I suspect that they are traitors, it is just a suspicion, nothing more. I cannot tell this matter to the women of Divine Moon Clan. You are people I trust very much, I can only speak with you. Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing's expression became startled, they looked at each other and their expression gradually became grave. Because they also trust Qin Yun very much, they know that Qin Yun has this kind of suspicion, they need to be careful. Leave it to us. We will secretly watch them. Xian Rujing said. Xiao Yun, you can rest assured. You are the current emperor of Divine Moon Clan, we will surely support you. Yi Yaoshua said. Chapter 25-35. After returning from the meeting with the 4 Yu clansmen, Qin Yun became paranoid. Xiao Yun, where did you get this information? Is it reliable? Who planted them? Xian Rujing asked. Dark Moon and Blood Moon King, they are Divine Moon Clan's senior figures. They grew up together, they are like sisters, moreover they were born from Mother Moon. Yi Yaoshua is also very suspicious and said, Xiao Yun, aren't you being too suspicious? Qin Yun shook his head. He did not say how he knows, he only said, I am somewhat suspicious, that is why I want you to pay attention to them. Remember, this matter must not be spread out. Because if it is spread, it will create a big conflict. Otherwise, there will be a huge conflict. We know, Xian Rujing said. The 4 moon clansmen had said that it was the Mother Moon who planted the Dark Moon and the Blood Moon. On this point, Qin Yun could not figure it out. Because it is impossible for Mother Moon to harm the entire Divine Moon clan. Could it be that after she died, she was unable to control those 2 traitors? Or did she have some disloyalty towards Divine Moon clan before she died? Qin Yun only knows that Mother Moon compromised with law enforcement realm and did not want Divine Moon clan to help Qin Yun fight against Heavenly Law Dao Orthodoxy and Divine Nations. Qin Yun can clearly sense this point. Mother Moon's thoughts are very complicated. Moreover, on the verge of death, Qin Yun would not find it strange if she did something. Because of this, he is half believing and half doubting the traitors. I want to go out for a trip to Heaven Creation Divine Palace. If there is anything important, you must contact me immediately. Qin Yun said. He has teleportation pearl and little ant queen. If he needs to go back, he can come back immediately. Heaven Creation Divine Palace? You are going alone? Xian Rujing is somewhat worried. And I am enough. Qin Yun originally wanted to go to 9 Sun Divine Palace to call people, but considering that there are traitors in Divine Moon Heavenly City, moreover they are 2 formidable kings, he decided to leave them in 9 Sun Divine Palace. Alright. Yi Yaoxue also knows that Qin Yun is very strong, she should not be worried. Daybreak arrived. Qin Yun bade farewell to Fengyue and Shueiyue before leaving Divine Moon Heaven City. He went to Purple Sun Manor to find Zao, the Purple Sun Fairy Emperor. The Purple Sun Fairies were trustworthy. Qin Yun came here to inform Zao. Within the Heavenly Sword formation, Zao's clan was considered very strong. With them around, Qin Yun felt a lot more at ease. Through the sound transmission Divine Pearl, Qin Yun learned from White Death that she had already discussed with Ming Yunyue. She would help Ming Yunyue find a large number of remnant sun souls. Ming Yunyue would regularly send resources to the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun contacted Ming Yunyue and learned that the 4 Moon Clan's clan emperors have already appeared on the Mystic Moonland and are rapidly building 4 large cities. The 4 Moon Clan emperors occupied the north, south, east, and west regions of the Mystic Moonland, while the Bright Moon sect occupied a smaller region in the middle. Therefore, in the land of the Mystic Moon, the big shots of the Moon Clan began to have conflict. Qin Yun composed himself and immediately rushed to the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. During this period of time, the Heaven Creation Divine Palace appeared in front of everyone in a high-profile manner. It occupied a very spacious treasure land in the God Desolate Land. That treasure land is very strange. It is as if there is a hidden array in that treasure land, causing 9 colored clouds to appear from time to time in the sky above the treasure land. Those 9 colored clouds all contain very dense divine power, and there are many 9-colored mist emitted from the ground. In some places, there is even 9-colored spring water with dense divine power that gushed out from the ground. The place where the Heaven Creation Divine Palace is located is called the 9-Cloud Province. The 9-Cloud Province is very wide. Shin Tianjun would need a day to fly across it. In the center of the 9-Cloud Province is the most important treasure land where the Heaven Creation Divine Palace is located, the 9-Cloud Sky City. The 9-Cloud Sky City is extremely large and has a population of tens of millions. It is said that the Heaven Creation Divine Palace attracted a large number of outstanding people from the God Desolate Land. Almost all of these people came from the Outer God Realm. Because of the 9-color spring in the 9-Cloud Sky City, they were all attracted here. Many of the divine sons of the Outer God Realms seem to be on the verge of destruction. Therefore, when people from the Outer God Realms come to the God Desolate Land, they naturally have to choose an extremely good environment to cultivate in. Most of the Outer God Realms are very powerful and have developed very well. Therefore, there are many capable people. If their divine sons want to be destroyed, they can only come to the God-desolate land. Qin Yun is also not sure how many people there are in the God-desolate land. He had asked the divine judge before, and according to his estimation, there are at least 100 billion people. And this is under the situation where many people from the outer god realms have not completely migrated to the god-desolate land. After hearing this number, Qin Yun did not believe it at first because he did not feel that there were that many people in the god-desolate land. Only when he found out that the Heaven Creation Divine Palace's 9-cloud sky city had absorbed tens of millions of capable people from the outer god realms did he believe that there were hundreds of billions of people in the god-desolate land. However, because the god-desolate land was too big, he could not sense it. In addition, a large number of people were mainly gathered at the divine nations. According to the information Qin Yun obtained from Fengyu, the divine nations already has 9,000 cities, and they are all from the outer god realm. Now, whether it is the outer god realm, the divine nations or the powerful races, they all call the ordinary humans born in the god-desolate land stupid. Just how big is the god-desolate land? It can accommodate so many people, and yet it doesn't feel crowded. Qin Yun is currently flying in the sky, and below him is desolate and uninhabited. The people from the outer god realms have not completely migrated over. Furthermore, there is a very large mysterious central region in the god-desolate land. Even now, I don't know what the situation inside is like. Ling Yun'er said. When Qin Yun controlled the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop to travel through space, he could roughly see the map of the god-desolate land. The center of the map is shrouded in mist. Not to mention the powerful barrier, it is also very dangerous to enter. The mysterious central region took up nearly a third of the map. The god-desolate land should have stopped growing, right? Qin Yun is very clear that back then, the god-desolate land was very small. Later on, it devoured many god realms and continued to grow. I don't think so, because those outer god realms have not been completely destroyed. When the outer divine world is completely destroyed, the divine sun will explode and the space will collapse, then it will definitely be devoured by the heavenly god desolate. Ling Yun'er doubtfully said, Xiao Yun, I suddenly feel that the heavenly god desolate is not a heavenly god. In the center of desolate there might be a very, very large nether sun. Qin Yun, who was flying in the air, suddenly stopped. He looked in the direction of the central region and said with a frown, It's highly possible. Only the nether sun could have such a terrifying devouring power. Such a huge nether sun was actually not in the sky, but in the sky. The center of wasteland? Ling Yun'er laughed. Xiao Yun, don't forget this is God desolate. You are the godly king of the divine wilderness. Qin Yun shook his head. Divine desolate is a newly formed power, it will definitely be reshuffled again in the future. The center of the divine desolate heavens was definitely terrifying. As a god king, I will definitely be watched by many people. It will be even more dangerous. The Heaven Creation God Palace is still very far away from the Heavenly Sword formation. Qin Yun used the light transformation, sacred pupil and transcending void step to travel day and night. Only after several days did he see the 9-colored phenomenon in the sky. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and used luck observation technique. Not only can he see the luck of a person, he can also see the luck of a place. After looking for a while, Qin Yun said doubtfully, I used luck observation technique and saw 9 huge birds in front of me. Each bird has a different color. Then what's the situation? Ling Yun'er asked. This is a place where a divine bird is being nurtured. Qin Yun's expression changed. 9 different types of energy, could it be that a divine bird is being incubated? The place chosen by the Heaven Creation God Palace is truly unexpected to Qin Yun. Quickly call Yang Yang out. Ling Yun'er quickly said. Qin Yun called Yang Yang out. The little girl is holding a bright red fruit in her hand. He doesn't know what kind of fruit it is, but it should be planted by Zi Qingqing and Shui Tianzi. Yang Yang, can you sense what's ahead? Qin Yun asked. Let me see. Yang Yang chewed on the fruit and looked ahead. She was originally floating in the air, and now she is flying even higher. Not long after, she said with a frown. Big brother, there is a divine bird in front, moreover it is a 9 heavens divine bird. It should be nurturing a divine bird. Could it be that the divine bird has come out? Qin Yun said, What kind of divine bird is it? The divine bird is dead. It didn't survive. Yang Yang sighed softly. Could it be that it was killed by the Heaven Creation God Palace? Qin Yun felt that it is possible and said again, Why is the divine bird of the 9 heavens here? It should be called by divine sun. In order to adapt to the environment of the divine desolate, the 9 heavens divine bird will undergo nirvana. During nirvana, an accident happened and it died. Yang Yang groaned and said, There must be bad people doing evil. Qin Yun squinted his eyes and looked at the 9-colored cloud in the distant sky. He sighed and said, After this divine bird underwent nirvana, it must be very powerful, but it died. This must be done by the Heaven Creation God Palace. Big brother, you must teach those bad people a lesson. Yang Yang suddenly felt sad and angry. And I will definitely teach them a lesson. Qin Yun caressed Yang Yang's face and let her return to the 9-sun divine soul. Qin Yun also entered the 9-cloud state and flew towards the 9-cloud heavenly city. He is now very sure that below the 9-cloud heavenly city is the place where the 9 heavens divine bird underwent nirvana. The divine bird was actually killed by the Heaven Creation God Palace. The energy gathered by the divine bird during nirvana was released and turned this place into a treasure land. Xiao Yun, the divine bird must have a soul. The soul should be suppressed, otherwise if the divine bird died here, the surroundings would definitely be filled with resentment. Ling Yun said. Let's find Yu Tian and ask, we will know. Qin Yun increased his speed. He only wants to quickly reach the Heaven Creation God Palace. He is worried that something might happen to Yu Tian. Yu Tian is the 9-sun divine maiden, there won't be any accidents. However, Qin Yun is very worried because Yu Tian is facing the Heaven Creation God Palace. He is very regretful. He should not have agreed to let Yu Tian become the palace master of the Heaven Creation God Palace. Jiang Clan King, make a trip to the 9-cloud state. We will trade in the 9-cloud state. Qin Yun took out a sound transmission divine pearl and contacted Jiang Jiuchuan. Palace King, I am currently in the 9-cloud heavenly city. Divine King Jiang Xian is also here. Jiang Jiuchuan said. Chapter 2536. Knowing that Divine King Jiang Xian is refining a puppet body, Qin Yun immediately realized that it is not a coincidence that Divine King Jiang Xian is in 9-cloud heaven city. Qin Yun and Yu Shangyun killed the bodies of Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Sovereigns, so their souls must have escaped back to Heaven Creation Divine Palace. This means that they urgently need a new body. Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Sovereign's souls are descendants of Divine Sun, so they can't leave Divine Sun with their bodies. If they want to leave Divine Sun, they need a puppet body. Of course, their puppet bodies are very high level. It can be said that they are stronger than the bodies cultivated by most Divine Heaven monarchs. A large number of materials must have been used in the production of this puppet body. If Heaven Creation Divine Palace has many souls of Divine Sun's descendants, then they will need a lot of these puppet bodies. A divine bird from 9 heavens, with the help of Divine Sun's nirvana, its body must be very strong. This kind of divine bird's flesh and bones are one of the best materials to refine puppet bodies. So that's how they got their bodies, Qin Yun said in his heart. Then he continued to contact Jiang Jiuchuan to discuss the details of the fake transaction. Qin Yun did not rush to 9-cloud heaven city immediately. There is no one around him now. If Jiang Jiuchuan comes alone, Qin Yun's plan will be a success with Divine King Jiang Xian following him. As long as Divine King Jiang Xian is alone, Qin Yun is confident that he can capture him. Jiang Jiuchuan's voice came from the sound transmission pearl. Palace King, this is Nine Cloud Province, the territory of Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Isn't it bad to fight here? As long as Divine King Jiang Xian comes alone, there is no need to be afraid. Divine King Jiang Xian probably wants to rob us, then capture me and give me to Heaven Creation Divine Palace in exchange for rewards. Qin Yun said with smile. After all, Divine King Jiang Xian used to be one of the Divine Kings of 9 heavens. He is a very confident person. Moreover, he has many evil heavenly talismans and magic treasures. He is also very strong. Alright, let's do as we discussed before, Jiang Jiuchuan said. Jiang Jiuchuan immediately took action. As for Qin Yun, he looked at his surroundings before drilling underground. He began placing the Sun Dragon altar deep underground. The 9 altars were set up deep underground by Qin Yun. Furthermore, they became much smaller and did not produce any aura fluctuations. As such, Qin Yun could activate the 9 Dragon Heavenly Origin Array with just a thought. The 9 Dragons Heavenly Origin formation contained many types of formations, including killing formations, sealing formations, defensive formations, and all sorts of offensive formations. As long as the enemy enters the 9 Dragon Heavenly Origin formation, Qin Yun's plan will be half successful. It was also because he had previously sold a Sage Dao God Pill in exchange for quite a number of Divine Universe Golden Stones and placed them in the 9 altars, which was why he could squander them as he pleased. Qin Yun took out the God King spear and inspected it. Then, he put in 5 talisman crystals. That old fox Divine King Jiang Xian is quite hard to deal with. Qin Yun touched his hat. With this hat, Qin Yun's defense was extremely powerful. At the very least, he did not need to worry about his soul being damaged. Xiao Yun, don't let your guard down. Ling Yun warned. It's not that easy to take down a guy like Divine King Jiang Xian. Qin Yun also knew this, so he was prepared to use all the rune crystals he had. A talisman crystal paired with a godly monarch spear was rather useful. The godly monarch spear can accurately shoot out the talisman crystals very far. Inside the godly monarch spear, Qin Yun also added Space Heavenly Rune. After using the Space Divine Power Pearl's Space Divine Power, it can allow the talisman crystals and bullets to travel through space and avoid being blocked. Qin Yun took out the 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. This square pagoda was disguised by him and stuffed inside a mountain. Then, he opened up a cave. When Jiang Jiuchuan arrives, if something unexpected happens, he can use Transcending Void Step to hide inside the 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. Qin Yun can now say that everything is ready. He is just waiting for Divine King Jiang Xian to fall into his trap. If Divine King Jiang Xian follows, he will definitely observe from a distance. Therefore, Qin Yun does not plan to enter the 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda right from the start. After making all the preparations, Qin Yun imagined several possible situations in his mind. This way, he can better deal with them. Palace King, I am almost there. Jiang Jiuchuan sent voice transmission to Qin Yun. Did he follow? Qin Yun asked. He followed, but I can't be sure if he came alone or not. Palace King, if he brings a group of Heaven Creation Divine Palace experts to capture you, it will be very dangerous. Jiang Jiuchuan's voice is filled with worry. Don't worry, I am already prepared. Qin Yun also thought of this possibility. Although Qin Yun's 9 altars are underground, their range is still very large, covering a radius of 10,000 meters. When needed, he can immediately summon the altars and use Divine King Heavenly Seal to draw out the divine power of 3 myriad worlds' divine suns to make the 9 Dragon Heavenly Origin formation even stronger. It is currently noon, the time when myriad worlds' divine sun's light is at its strongest. Qin Yun grasped this time very well because at this stage, drawing out the divine power of myriad worlds' divine sun is also the fastest and strongest. The distance is very close. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the direction Jiang Jiuquan is coming from. There is no one behind Jiang Jiuquan, not even a bit of aura. Divine King Jiang Xian is truly an old fox, he should not be following us from the sky. Qin Yun also knows that he can not only pay attention to Jiang Jiuquan's direction. It is very likely that there will be a surprise attack from all directions. Qin Yun's mental power is very strong, especially after he cultivated 2 heavenly souls and heavenly souls. Using it together with his heavenly eye, he can completely grasp every movement within 10,000-meter radius. 6 Shin Tianjun. Qin Yun released his mental power and immediately sensed that other than Jiang Jiuquan, there are 6 more Shin Tianjun approaching. Jiang Jiuquan also appeared in Qin Yun's line of sight. His expression is very grave because he also sensed that something is amiss. He knows that Divine King Jiang Xian did not come alone. When Divine King Jiang Xian was in Divine Moonland, he already saw Qin Yun's strength, so he didn't dare to come alone. Jiang Jiuquan flew over. He is wearing thick black heavy armor. He knows that a great battle is about to happen, so he is very well equipped. Jiang Clan King, where are the transcending space divine stones I asked for? Jiang Jiuquan took out a storage bag and said, "They are all inside." Palace King, where is your Star Lord inscription spirit? Qin Yun has been secretly paying attention to the surrounding situation. When Jiang Jiuquan mentioned the Star Lord inscription spirit, Shen Tianjuan's divine power fluctuated very faintly. Apparently he is very excited. Qin Yun took out a pearl. The pearl looks like a soul-sealing pearl. Furthermore, it is emitting a very strong star power. This is not only star power, it is also accompanied by soul power fluctuation. Anyone who has seen inscription spirit before can immediately see that it is an inscription spirit. Naturally, this is not a real inscription spirit. Qin Yun made a fake one. This is not difficult for him. Just as Qin Yun is about to hand over the soul-sealing pearl, a berserk wave of divine power suddenly burst out from all directions. In just half a moment, the berserk and dreadful divine power violently rushed over. Thunder and lightning suddenly fell down like a waterfall, crazily bombarding Qin Yun and Jiang Jiuquan's location. All of this happened very quickly. Even if Jiang Jiuquan knew that a powerful enemy is about to attack, he didn't have enough time to react. Qin Yun's reaction is very fast, but he is very shocked in his heart. This kind of attack is very fast. It can be seen that the Shun Tianjun are very strong. Sensing a sneak attack, Qin Yun released Sun Heavenly Shield as fast as he can and opened it like a huge umbrella to block. At the same time, he activated the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation. After the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation was activated, it turned into a very powerful barrier that trapped Jiang Xian and the others inside. If they want to break out of the formation, they will need some time. Go! Qin Yun immediately brought Jiang Jiuquan towards the 9-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda while being attacked by all kinds of berserk divine power. The 9-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda was originally hidden inside a large mountain, but now all the mountains in the vicinity have been destroyed. Qin Yun and Jiang Jiuquan's location is several hundred meters around them. All kinds of light and thunder are exploding unceasingly. Divine King Jiang Xian and the others are releasing divine power they have been storing for a long time. Some of them are using divine tools to attack. Some of them have heavenly talismans. If it was a normal Shun Tianjun, even if there were 10 of them here, they would still be heavily injured. The Sun Heavenly Shield that Qin Yun released through the 9-Sun Divine Spirit has very strong defense. It condensed the divine power of several divine suns and can block all kinds of powerful attacks in a short period of time. After entering the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda, Qin Yun and divine King Jiang Xian let out a long sigh of relief. Jiang Jiuquan, you little bastard, you really colluded with that bastard Qin Yun. Divine King Jiang Xian said with sneer. Do you think you can take me down like this? You are too naive. After the few Shin Tianjun stopped attacking, they stood around the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Divine King Jiang Xian is wearing a set of black armor. It is obvious that it is made of black crystal moon divine iron. As for the other 5 old men, they are also wearing black armor. Their equipment is the best kind currently. It is made from a large amount of black crystal moon divine iron. Nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. It has been many years. I finally see this pagoda again. An old man with a face full of wrinkles said with an emotionless voice. His yellow old eyes looked cold. Great Emperor Zhuyang, the person inside the pagoda is the Qin Yun who destroyed your wife and son's body. Divine King Jiang Xian said. I know. This person is indeed very powerful. He was actually able to remain unscathed under our attack just now. Great Emperor Zhuyang said indifferently. Divine King Jiang Xian sighed and said. His pagoda's defense is extremely strong. We attacked it before but were unable to break through. Great Emperor Zhuyang sneered. Nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. This broken pagoda is not difficult to attack. As long as it is related to the sun, it will not be able to withstand a single blow from me, Zhuyang. Chapter 25-37. Outside the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda, Zhuyang Great Emperor stood in front of the pagoda door with his hands behind his back and shouted coldly, Qin Yun, come out and fight me! Do you really think that the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda can never be broken? The sky was covered with thick clouds. When Zhuyang and the others attacked, they covered the sun and blocked the divine power of the myriad realms. Divine Sunday Qin Yun was not worried at all. If he really wanted to borrow the divine power of the myriad realms' divine sun, the thick clouds would not be able to stop him. You have 6 Shin Tian monarchs outside. I am just a small saint god, I am not your match. Qin Yun laughed. Do you really think I am an idiot who will go out and die? Jiang Xian shouted. Qin Yun, although you are a saint god, who doesn't know that your strength is comparable to Shin Tian monarchs? Don't pretend to be weak anymore. Zhuyang Great Emperor said slowly. Qin Yun, your strength is not bad. But you can only stop here. Your last heavenly Tao image cannot evolve into a sacred heavenly Tao image. Do you know why? I don't believe your nonsense. Qin Yun snorted. You are a smart person. Even if you say that you don't believe me, you can definitely tell that I am telling the truth. Zhuyang Great Emperor smiled faintly. Do you know how the heavenly Tao image can evolve into a sacred heavenly Tao image? It requires the God bestowed by the heavenly law orthodoxy. The sacred heavenly spirit can evolve. Jiang Xian laughed sinisterly. Qin Yun angered all the law enforcement great sovereigns. How can he obtain the sacred heavenly spirit bestowed by the heavenly law orthodoxy? Qin Yun knew that Zhuyang Great Emperor was speaking the truth, but he was not worried at all. He believed that he could definitely evolve the heavenly Tao image into a sacred heavenly Tao image. Qin Yun, you can destroy my wife and children's bodies because they are not prepared enough. Do you really think that you are strong enough to easily destroy the bodies of the heavenly emperors? Zhuyang Great Emperor laughed loudly. You should not know that our bodies are very strong, right? There are many of them, right? Only when we are serious will we use our strongest bodies. Divine King Jiang Xian nodded and said, the bodies of the myriad heavens venerables and the sad emperor were the worst. If he uses his strongest body, even 10 Qin Yuns would not be his match. Inside the pagoda, Qin Yun could see Emperor Zhuyang clenching his skinny fists tightly as he gathered his strength. This great Emperor Zhuyang pretended to talk to Qin Yun, but he was secretly condensing an extremely terrifying divine power. This guy's divine power. Could it really restrain the power of the divine sun? Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and saw that Emperor Zhu Yang's fist was trembling slightly. The divine power condensed in his fist had a demonic red glow. Only when he used his third eye could he see that red light. At the same time, he felt the divine power of Emperor Zhu Yang fluctuate slightly. That fluctuation could easily penetrate the nine-sun sky-raising pagoda. Not good. If this guy really attacks, he might break through my nine-sun sky-raising pagoda. Qin Yun was immediately certain that Emperor Zhu Yang's divine power restrained everything related to the divine sun. In other words, even if he used his nether sun divine power, he might be restrained. Looks like I can't use divine power related to the divine sun, otherwise it will be easily neutralized. When Qin Yun used the sun heavenly shield earlier, Emperor Zhu Yang did not use his divine power to restrain the divine sun. Now it seems that Emperor Zhu Yang needed time to prepare to use his divine power to restrain the divine sun. Qin Yun is thinking about how to resist Emperor Zhu Yang's divine power. He can already feel how terrifying Emperor Zhu Yang's divine power is. It can indeed restrain the divine sun's divine power. Qin Yun, you have the divine king heavenly seal. You can borrow the power of the myriad realms divine sun. Your cultivation should be closely related to the myriad realms divine sun. And this is your Achilles heel. Emperor Zhu Yang suddenly laughed maniacally and said, I, Zhu Yang, have spent my entire life studying how to restrain all kinds of divine sun, because I am the nemesis of the divine sun. As he spoke, his fist overflowed with traces of red energy. The surrounding space actually began to fluctuate and distort. From this, it can be seen how terrifying that power is. All of you quickly retreat, lest you get injured. Once I take down Qin Yun, the great formation sealing us will naturally break by itself. Great Emperor Zhu Yang is very confident. Divine King Jiang Xian and the other divine heavenly monarchs are very clear about how terrifying Great Emperor Zhu Yang's strength is. The divine power fluctuation that erupted from him at this moment caused them to secretly feel fear. Just that aura alone caused the entire nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda to shake and let out a kind of jia sound, as if it is about to be torn apart at any time. This is the first time Qin Yun felt that his nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda is in fear. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's divine power can indeed destroy the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. No, I absolutely cannot let him destroy the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Qin Yun's eyes suddenly turned blue as he operated the Imperial Heaven Divine technique. There are no moves within the Imperial Heaven Divine technique. However, Qin Yun can use the Imperial Heaven Divine Technique's various exquisite techniques to comprehend and create all kinds of powerful Imperial Heaven magic techniques, divine skills and runes. Qin Yun's Heavenly Tao Divine Rune has already evolved into the Imperial Heaven Divine Rune image. This is a very miraculous state. Not only is it the Imperial Heaven Divine Rune image, it is also the Imperial Heaven Inscription Spirit. My strongest power is not the Divine Sun but the Imperial Heaven Divine Power. Qin Yun suddenly stepped out of the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda and stored it away. His 10 fingers quickly moved towards the void in front of him. His eyes shot out 2 blue light beams. In the blink of an eye, he used runes to carve a blue shield in the void. Qin Yun used the shield totem to coordinate with his Imperial Heaven Divine Rune, and under the effect of the Imperial Heaven Inscription Spirit, the shield totem quickly evolved into the Imperial Heaven Divine Rune. You are truly disappointing. In order to protect a broken pagoda, you actually came out to throw away your life. Great Emperor Zhu Yang laughed loudly and punched forward. An incomparably bright red divine power rushed towards Qin Yun like the head of an angry demon. This divine power is incomparably evil. It contains all kinds of ruthless and resentful intent. It can be imagined that Great Emperor Zhu Yang must have slaughtered countless living beings to cultivate this power. As soon as the absolute yang evil power appeared, the evil power is like the roar of 10,000 ghosts. Even the 3 myriad realms divine suns in the sky are now enveloped by the evil red shadow. Boom! The absolute yang devil fist hit Qin Yun's shield, causing a deafening sound as if the heavens are collapsing. The place where Qin Yun is enveloped by the bitter red evil power. The evil power roared and churned. It is as if countless red devils are celebrating. The scene is evil and demonic, it is shocking. My absolute yang devil fist can exterminate a child divine son with one punch. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's fist is incomparably red. He stood proudly and looked at the area enveloped by the red evil power. He said with a sneer, Qin Yun has been hit by me head-on. Even if he doesn't die, he will be crippled. However, at this moment, the area enveloped by the red evil power suddenly flickered with blue light. The Imperial Heaven Shield Totem Qin Yun created through the Imperial Heaven inscription spirit condensed into a large blue shield. It actually blocked the red evil power. Imperial Heaven Shield. Controlling the Heavenly Tao, transforming the Heavenly Tao into a shield. This is the power of the Imperial Heaven Tao. Absolute Yang Devil Fist? Qin Yun faintly sneered. His laughter is filled with contempt. You are only SOSO. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's expression greatly changed. His wrinkled old face twitched. It is obvious that he is extremely shocked. Attack, exterminate him. Great Emperor Zhu Yang suddenly shouted, indicating to Divine King Jiang Xian and the other divine heavenly lords to attack. Qin Yun immediately laughed loudly and said, a few divine heavenly lords are finally going to join hands to attack a mere sacred god realm like me? Boom boom boom. After a few loud sounds, the earth suddenly split open. 9 enormous dragon altars that are as large as mountains roared and rushed out from the earth after a few trembling sounds. Great formation activated, 9 dragon roar. The 9 dragon heavenly origin formation is crazily attacking the target within the formation. Just as Divine King Jiang Xian and the other divine heavenly lords were about to attack, they were attacked by the dragon-transformed Berserk Dragon, causing them to be unable to attack Qin Yun. I will exterminate you with my bare hands. Qin Yun took a step forward and arrived in front of Great Emperor Zhu Yang. With a wave of his hand, the heavenly lion fighting Dragon Claw appeared. It is filled with destructive Imperial Heaven divine power as it slammed towards Great Emperor Zhu Yang. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's equipment is extremely strong. It released a shockwave that scattered Qin Yun's heavenly lion fighting Dragon Claw. At the same time, his withered and aged body radiated with red light. Waves of absolute yang evil power surged out, majestic and intense. It is clear that he is going to fight with his life on the line. My current body isn't the only body I have. It's just my weakest one. And you only have one body. Great Emperor Zhu Yang laughed loudly. I will use this body to perish together with you. The one who will suffer is you. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's body that radiates absolute yang divine power is indeed terrifying. But Qin Yun is not afraid because his Imperial Heaven divine power can completely suppress Great Emperor Zhu Yang's absolute yang divine power. Under Great Emperor Zhu Yang's feet, many tree vines that flickered with blue light suddenly surged out. The tree vines quickly wrapped around Great Emperor Zhu Yang. Then, a large number of tree roots, like powerful blue claws, ruthlessly grabbed Great Emperor Zhu Yang. This is Qin Yun using the power of the tree totem, and it is the Imperial Heaven tree totem. I said before, I will exterminate you with my bare hands. Qin Yun once again arrived in front of Great Emperor Zhu Yang and attacked with a palm. When the palm containing boundless Imperial Heaven divine power attacked, its aura is like a sky slapping down. Boom! The boundless Imperial Heaven divine power stirred up vibrations, as if the sky was shaking. The palm struck Great Emperor Zhu Yang's head. Heavenly annihilation 9 forms, heavenly quake. After a loud sound, great Emperor Zhu Yang's head was directly smashed into pieces and deformed. When Divine King Jiangxian and the others in the distance saw this scene, they were all alarmed and terrified. After a few heavenly quake palm strikes, great Emperor Zhu Yang's head was completely smashed into pieces. This great Emperor Zhu Yang's soul is the soul of a divine sun descendant, and it is an extremely powerful one. It can escape from the body at an extremely fast speed, pass through the 9-dragon heavenly origin array, and return to the 9-cloud sky city's heaven creation divine palace. Qin Yun took a deep breath and looked at Divine King Jiangxian, who was not far away. Then, he removed the heaven-locking chain from his neck and activated his vigorous imperial heaven divine power. He controlled the heaven-locking chain to fly over and pierce through Divine King Jiangxian's forehead. Divine King Jiangxian let out a blood-curdling scream. At this moment, he finally realized how terrifying this Divine King of the divine desolate heavens was. He was only at the sacred God realm, yet he had such powerful strength. Chapter 25:38. God King Jiangxian was an expert who had cultivated for many years. Furthermore, he was once one of the God Kings of the 9 heavens God realm. His soul was extremely powerful. After his body was torn apart by Qin Yun, his soul was like a gust of wind, blowing towards 9-cloud heaven city as he fled in panic. However, his soul was blocked by the boundary released by the 9 dragons' heavenly origin formation. Only the souls of the descendants of the divine sun god had strong penetrative power and could easily pass through the barrier. God King Jiangshuan's soul didn't have such an ability, so he could only struggle in despair. You godly monarchs from the outer god world, behave yourselves in the gods desolate and don't make an enemy out of me. Then, nothing will happen to you. Qin Yun looked at godly monarch Jiangxian's soul. As he spoke, a sacred tribulation gate appeared behind him. The sacred gate of tribulation opened, and black energy surged out, creating a devouring force. This was Nether Sun's divine tribulation gate. God King Jiangshuan's soul screamed in fear as it was sucked into the sacred calamity gate. This guy's soul is pretty good, but it's still far from mine. Qin Yun originally believed that devouring godly monarch Jiangxian's soul would greatly aid his cultivation of the heavenly soul and heavenly spirit. But now that he used the Nether Sun to investigate, even if he completely refined God King Jiangxian's soul, it would only increase his heavenly soul and heavenly soul by a little. Within the 9 dragons' heavenly origin formation, there were still a few Shin Tianjun. Some of these heaven lords were from the heaven creation god palace, and some were God King Jiangxian's subordinate. They were far weaker than Divine King Jiangxian and Great Emperor Zhu Yang. Qin Yun didn't even need to make a move. Just the 9-dragon violent lightning released by the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation heavily injured those divine heavenly lord. He released the heaven-locking chain and pierced through those divine heavenly monarchs one by one. Then, he exploded their bodies and used them to feed the little Nether Sun in his 9-sun divine spirit. I have only cultivated 9 sacred heavenly Tao images and my power is already comparable to the extremely powerful Shen Tianjun. This is mainly the power that the imperial heaven divine power brought me. After Qin Yun cultivated the imperial heaven divine power, his heavenly body also improved along with it. However, he could not sense it. Xiao Yun, you still underestimate your own strength. Ling Yun laughed. It's not that I underestimated myself, it's that I overestimated them. Qin Yun put away the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, shook his head and smiled. They boasted about how strong they are. I was almost fooled. When Qin Yun fought with Zhu Yang Great Emperor, he roughly understood the strength of those powerful divine heaven monarchs. After the battle with God King Jiangxian, he understood the strength of the God Kings of the outer God world. They left their own god world, and without the help of the God King Heaven seal of their original god world, they were no different from ordinary heaven lords. The guys from the heaven-creating divine palace should be here soon, right? Ling Yuner said. If they use their powerful bodies, what will happen? Qin Yun shook his head. I don't know. When I find Yu Tian, I'll go fight them again. He had wanted to see the power of the seal crystals, but Emperor Zhu Yang had not forced him to use them, so there was no need for him to waste it. After Qin Yun left the battlefield, he took out the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and let Jiang Jiuquan out. After Jiang Jiuquan came out and saw Qin Yun's calm expression, he knew that the battle was over, but he doesn't know the result. Where are they? Jiang Jiuquan looked all around. This is not the battlefield from before. He believes that Qin Yun only escaped and cannot defeat Zhu Yang Great Emperor. Zhu Yang Great Emperor's body was destroyed by me. His soul escaped, everyone else is dead. Qin Yun said with smile. Old Jiang, this time it is all thanks to you for luring them out. Jiang Jiuquan is startled, then said with smile. You are welcome, I promised Palace King that I would help you get rid of them. Without these scoundrels, Divine Desolate will become a better place. Although Divine King Jiang Xian is his father, they have not had any feelings for each other for many years. Jiang Jiuquan has always been vigilant against Divine King Jiang Xian. He is worried that he will be refined into a puppet and controlled by him. Divine King Jiang Xian refined his few outstanding sons into puppets. He can completely control them. When needed, he can even make his sons explode. He is very vicious. I still want to go to 9-Cloud Heavenly City. Qin Yun said. Palace King must be careful. Jiang Jiuquan finished speaking and said with sigh. What a pity. Divine King Jiang Xian had an inscription spirit, it is gone just like that. Ah, what kind of inscription spirit does he have? Qin Yun promptly asked because Divine King Jiang Xian's soul has already been devoured by Qin Yun. Heavenly Puppet Inscription Spirit. This inscription spirit is very special. After obtaining it, one can master a kind of heavenly rune that can be used to refine puppets. Jiang Jiuquan let out a long sigh again. This is a very rare inscription spirit. Qin Yun is very happy in his heart. Inscription spirits are usually connected to souls. If Divine King Jiang Xian's soul is refined by Nether Sun, Qin Yun will surely obtain the heavenly puppet inscription spirit. As a puppet, Qin Yun already had the Sky Cosmic Overlord. At present, it was a pretty good puppet. And I don't know the specifics. He's never told me about it. That's right, the reason why Heaven Creation Divine Palace thinks so highly of him is because he has the heavenly puppet inscription spirit. Jiang Jiuquan said. Jiang Jiuquan doesn't dare to go to 9-Cloud Heavenly City again because Great Emperor Zhu Yang's soul has returned and knows that Jiang Jiuquan is with Qin Yun. If Jiang Jiuquan is discovered in 9-Cloud Heavenly City, he will die for sure. He is not as strong as Qin Yun. Jiang Jiuquan still has some goals, moreover, his vision is very far. The 9-Heaven Divine race he leads is the most orthodox 9-Heaven Divine race. He has taught them very well. Palace King, we will meet again someday. Jiang Jiuquan cupped his hands towards Qin Yun and then swaggered away. Qin Yun also obtained 100 genes of transcending space divine stone from Jiang Jiuquan. He also did not take Jiang Jiuquan's things for free. He gave him some divine universe golden stone. Not many people know about Divine King Jiang Xian's death. Jiang Jiuquan knows, but he won't talk about it. As for whether or not Great Emperor Zhu Yang will talk about it, no one knows. In short, Great Emperor Zhu Yang suffered a great loss this time. Not only did he lose his body, he also killed a talented person like Divine King Jiang Xian. Divine King Jiang Xian is very important to Heaven Creation Divine Palace's upper echelons precisely because of the heavenly puppet inscription spirit. Qin Yun is also not in a hurry to understand the function of the heavenly puppet inscription spirit. In any case, it is already in his hands. Inscription spirit, this kind of thing, no one will dislike having too many. Nine Cloud Heaven City does not have thick and tall city walls, but it is enveloped by a very strong barrier. Creating a barrier is to have a stronger control over the entire city. If you want to enter or leave the city, you have to go through a specific entrance and exit. This way, they can prevent enemies from invading or people who are causing trouble in the city to escape. At night, Qin Yun quietly arrived at Nine Cloud Heaven City's South City Gate. The city gate's main gate is closed, only the small gate is open. There are many people at the city gate. Moreover, there are all kinds of large mirrors, they are all kinds of detection equipment. After Great Emperor Zhu Yang's soul ran back, he will definitely order to strengthen the security. Qin Yun thought. Xiao Yun, what do you think Yu Tian will do in Heaven Creation Divine Palace? Ling Yun is very worried. Yu Tian is an inscription master and she is not stupid. She must have her reasons for doing this. Qin Yun looked at the divine moon in the sky and said, with the protection of divine sun and divine moon, she will definitely be fine. Qin Yun observed from afar at the city gate and knew that it is impossible to sneak in. The various tools of Heaven Creation Divine Palace are very brilliant. If Qin Yun insisted on entering, he would definitely be discovered. If he was far away from Nine Cloud Heaven City and fought with the people of Heaven Creation Divine Palace in another place, Qin Yun would have nothing to worry about. Heaven Creation Divine Palace absorbed a large number of talents from many divine realms and gathered in Nine Cloud Heaven City. This is the headquarters of Heaven Creation Divine Palace. If Qin Yun made a move here, he would definitely be besieged. Nine Cloud Heaven City's barrier is extremely strong. Qin Yun tried using spatial divine power, but he was unable to penetrate it. He could only release the little queen ant and let the little queen ant bring him in through the dark space. The little queen ant can very skillfully bring Qin Yun into the dark space, and then come out from the dark space. This way, she can bring Qin Yun across the barrier of Nine Cloud Heaven City. Moreover, it is very quiet. No matter how strong the barrier is, it can be crossed, unless there is some powerful barrier that can completely seal off the dark space. Qin Yun entered Nine Cloud Heaven City and took out Yu Tian's soul-chasing talisman. After confirming the direction, he said doubtfully, "Strange, Heaven Creation Divine Palace should be in the middle. Yu Tian's direction is not in the middle." The soul-chasing talisman pointed to the east, so Qin Yun could only rush to the east. The inside of Nine Cloud Heaven City is very big and the streets are very spacious. The buildings here are all very large, row after row, they look very grand. There are no small houses at all. Qin Yun hurried along the street. He is not eye-catching here because he is dressed in a very low-key manner and is even wearing a hat. Furthermore, there were many people from the God world gathered here. Many of them were dressed in strange clothing, and some of them even had strange appearances. Nine Cloud Heaven City is very lively. There is an endless stream of people and carriages. After Qin Yun entered, he also discovered that many of the people here smoke unfettered smoke. The Bright Moon Sect's unfettered smoke has already been sold here. The cooperation between the Heaven Creation Divine Palace and the Bright Moon Sect is very close. Wang Haoyuan knows that the people of the Heaven Creation Divine Palace are very sinister, but he also wants to use the Heaven Creation Divine Palace to help him obtain a large amount of Remnant Sun Soul. Qin Yun has never seen what the Remnant Sun Soul looks like. He only heard that there are not many of them, and it is not easy to obtain them. When Qin Yun was rushing to the eastern region, 9 huge beams of light suddenly shot into the sky from the center of Nine Cloud Heaven City. Soon after, a huge ball of 9 colored light condensed in the sky. This sudden commotion shook the entire Nine Cloud Heaven City. Many people cried out in alarm and walked towards the heaven creation divine palace in the center of the city. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and discovered that there is a figure inside the ball of 9-colored light. Could it be that they created a body? It looks very strong. Qin Yun originally wanted to go over to take a look, but he discovered that there are many auras of the Heavenly Lord over at the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Chapter 2539. When Qin Yun heard the voice that penetrated him with immense and robust divine power, he felt an inexplicable sense of horror. The 9-cloud sky city's barrier is very strong. When Qin Yun came in, he carefully checked it out. Not only can it block divine power, it is also very difficult for sound to penetrate. And there was an expert outside who could make his voice penetrate the barrier of 9-cloud sky city and reverberate within 9-cloud sky city. This was an extremely terrifying divine power. This guy, could it be that he has surpassed Shin Tian Monarch? Where did he come from? Qin Yun secretly guessed. The person who spoke just now not only has unfathomable divine power, he also recognized the 9-heaven divine body created by the Heaven Creation God Palace. Although Qin Yun doesn't know what the 9-heaven divine body means, from the huge movement of the Heaven Creation God Palace, it is definitely a very powerful body. Zhuyang Great Emperor said before that they have many bodies and they usually don't use the strongest body. Most of the upper echelons of the Heaven Creation God Palace are descendants of Divine Sunday. They don't have their own bodies. Their powerful souls need to be attached to powerful bodies in order to control powerful divine power. Although their bodies were created, they still had flesh and blood. That kind of powerful body also had a cultivation base. The souls of the descendants of Divine Sun can attach to these bodies, allowing them to continuously cultivate and grow, no different from normal people cultivating. Qin Yun took out the soul-chasing talisman and looked. Yu Tian is still in the Eastern District and did not rush to the Heaven Creation God Palace in the center of the city. Let's go find Yu Tian first. Qin Yun decided to find Yu Tian first because she definitely knows a lot about the internal affairs of the Heaven Creation God Palace. Qin Yun quickened his pace and rushed towards the Eastern District. Many people are rushing to the center of the city to watch the show, so the streets are quite chaotic. Outside the barrier of the 9-cloud sky city, the voice came again. Heaven Creation God Palace, did you really encounter a strong enemy? You actually used such a large amount of resources to create the 9-heaven divine body. You are wrong. Our 9-heaven divine body was not created just now. It was already created a long time ago. We are only awakening it now. A voice came from the center of the city. When Qin Yun heard that voice, he is secretly shocked. It is actually the voice of the sad emperor. It seems like you already have a lot of bodies in your hands. The voice outside the city chuckled. Emperor Melancholy, I heard that your and your son's bodies were destroyed by someone, but it's not enough to force you to awaken the 9 heavens' godly physique. The Sorrow Emperor sneered. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, are you here to mock us? I wouldn't dare. How could I dare to make fun of your heaven-creating deity palace? Heavenly Ghost Ancestor chuckled. I have no malicious intent in coming here, I just wanted to see my old friends. Humph, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, you just broke through the Divine Sky Lord realm. I think you're here to make fun of us. The sorrowful Emperor snorted coldly. Surpassing the Divine Sky Lord realm. This instantly caused an uproar in the city. Everyone looked outside the city to see where the Heavenly Ghost Ancestor was. A person who could surpass the Shin Tian Lord realm was naturally very terrifying. Qin Yun had roughly guessed it just now. Now that he had confirmed it, he was still shocked. There was actually someone who had surpassed the Divine Heaven Lord realm. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor laughed and said, Sad Emperor, I really didn't mean that. I came here to chat with my old friends. I have been in seclusion for many years and just broke through. Most of my friends have died, and my heavenly ghost legion has also been exterminated. How boring! No matter how everyone heard it, they all felt that heavenly ghost ancestor was flaunting his strength. They all suspected that heavenly ghost ancestor had once been tricked by the heaven-piercing god. Qin Yun also felt the same way. The Sorrow Emperor said coldly, "Heavenly ghost ancestor, whoever destroyed your heavenly ghost legion, go and find them. You should know who destroyed your heavenly ghost legion, right? It was the heavenly Tao Old Turtle who destroyed my heavenly ghost legion. However, the heavenly Tao Old Turtle has returned to heaven, and the new heavenly Tao seems to be your son." Heavenly ghost ancestor chuckled and said, "My son is indeed the new heavenly Tao, but he hasn't completely inherited it. Even if he inherits the heavenly Tao, it has nothing to do with my son." The Sorrow Emperor said angrily. She knew that this heavenly ghost ancestor was here to cause trouble. The heavenly Tao destroyed my heavenly ghost legion. As long as I inherit the heavenly Tao, I can obtain the power of the heavenly Tao. Then I will have to repay everything on behalf of the heavenly Tao. Heavenly ghost ancestor said with a sinister smile. The Sorrow Emperor is very angry, her voice is filled with cold killing intent as she shouted. The heavenly Tao pawnshop was obtained by Qin Yun, the heavenly Tao altar is in the hands of heavenly Tao Zi, my son has yet to inherit anything from the heavenly Tao. If you want to find someone, go find them. Qin Yun, who is running madly, secretly laughed in his heart. Taking over the heavenly Tao and even taking the blame for it? Heavenly ghost ancestor said with a smile. As far as I know, the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy recorded that when one inherits the heavenly Tao, there is no heavenly Tao pawnshop or heavenly Tao altar, so they don't count. Heavenly ghost ancestor, I said that my son has yet to inherit the heavenly Tao. Only after he devours Qin Yun will he be considered to have completely inherited the heavenly Tao. The Sorrow Emperor became angry out of humiliation and shouted. It can be seen that she is quite afraid of heavenly ghost ancestor, afraid that he will set his eyes on the heavenly venerables. The heavenly venerables have 10 Tao images, and these 10 images are innate to him. He doesn't need to cultivate to become the strongest Tao image. This is the power of the heavenly Tao. Heavenly ghost ancestor's voice no longer has a smile. It has become very cold. Heavenly ghost ancestor's voice has become very cold. Heavenly ghost ancestor, who has just broken through and learned that his army has been destroyed, naturally wants to find the enemy for revenge. And as the inheritor of the heavenly Tao, the heavenly venerables naturally become the target of heavenly ghost ancestor. The 9-colored ball of light in the sky above the heaven-creating God Palace suddenly shook, and then, a strong light exploded. Everyone in the 9-cloud sky city was so blinded by the strong light that they could not open their eyes. Qin Yun, who was running madly on the street, immediately stopped, opened his heavenly eye and looked at the strong light, only to see a strong body in the middle of the strong light, the appearance of a middle-aged man. From the appearance, it can be seen that it is Zhu Yang Great Emperor. When Emperor Zhu Yang fought with Qin Yun, he used a very old body. But now, his body was that of a middle-aged man. From the shape of his face, it could be seen that he was very similar to the old Emperor Zhu Yang. Heavenly ghost ancestor, my son will inherit everything of the heavenly Tao. You want to find him for revenge? If you have the guts, come. Zhu Yang Great Emperor's voice is filled with monstrous power, shaking the sky. Qin Yun continued to run. He wants to quickly find Yu Tian and then leave this place. Zhu Yang Great Emperor's 9 heavens divine body is indeed very powerful. These guys, after changing their bodies, they really became very strong. Qin Yun also doesn't know if the heavenly venerables also changed to 9 heavens divine body or some other stronger body. Xiao Yun, next time you fight them, think about how to capture their souls. Ling Yuner said, once you capture their souls, use soul loss do. Qin Yun still has some soul lost dew in his hands, but not much. He wants to keep some as samples for research. Soul lost dew is currently something that can restrain the souls of divine sun descendants. Those guys' souls are very strong, it will be very difficult to capture them. If Qin Yun were to face the souls of ordinary divine sun descendants, it would not be a problem. But for the souls of divine sun descendants like Zhu Yang Great Emperor, once they leave their bodies, their speed is very fast. Qin Yun has not found an effective way to quickly seal the souls of divine sun descendants. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's voice came out after a long time. It can be seen that he is also scared. His aura is still very strong. He laughed loudly and said, "Good, good, good. Great Emperor Zhu Yang, you said those words. Just you wait for me. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, you crossed the divine heaven monarch realm. It is really great. Especially at this time, you came at the right time." Great Emperor Zhu Yang also laughed loudly. "You want to use me to test the power of the nine heavens' divine body?" Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said with sneer. "You just fused with the nine heavens' divine body, aren't you afraid that I will destroy it? Didn't you want to kill my son? He just changed his body. I will let him come and kill you to show our might in the divine desolate." Great Emperor Zhu Yang said. All Heaven's Great Emperor's body was destroyed by Qin Yun in the Divine Moon continent. This matter has already caused all Heaven's Great Emperor and the entire Divine Desolate to lose their prestige. Now, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, a person who has crossed the Divine Heaven Monarch realm, has appeared. If all Heaven's Great Emperor can suppress this person, they can once again shake the Divine Desolate. Qin Yun also secretly hopes that all Heaven's Great Emperor can come and fight with Heavenly Ghost Ancestor. This way, he can take this opportunity to clearly understand the strength of all Heaven's Great Emperor. "Your son, don't tell me he also fused with the nine heavens' divine body?" Heavenly Ghost Ancestor sneered. "If you fight with me, you still have 2 to 3% chance of winning. If your son fights with me, he has no chance at all. I am not afraid of the nine heavens' divine body." Great Emperor Qin proudly laughed and said, "You are wrong, my son does not have the nine heavens' divine body. The divine body he obtained is even stronger than the nine heavens' divine body. Apart from the nine heavens' divine body, what divine body is stronger? Don't scare me, I, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, am an expert in scaring people. You can't scare me," Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said very confidently. "Then don't leave, wait for my son." Great Emperor Zhu Yang's laughter is filled with confidence. He shouted, "Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, if you want to live for a few more years, then hurry up and scram." Heavenly Ghost Ancestor laughed loudly and said, "Don't bluff, I won't fall for this kind of trick. Fine, I will wait for your son outside the city. I, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, have been asleep for so many years. I really need to do something big and let people know of my existence. These old fellows who have been in seclusion for many years, indeed no one knows them. Only by killing a famous expert of the present age can they raise their fame." Qin Yun has already arrived at the eastern region, holding the soul-chasing talisman. He rushed into a small villa. After entering the small villa, he sensed danger lurking on every side. Whoosh! A burst of gale blew over. Qin Yun's body is also momentarily unable to move. Then he was surrounded by 4 women with red cloth covering their faces. These 4 women are very strong. All of them have the cultivation of divine heaven monarch. Moreover, the aura on their bodies is very gloomy. Their eyes are light blue. They look like heavenly eyes, but they are not. Chapter 2540. When Qin Yun saw these women, he was astonished at first. But soon after, he felt happy because the divine power aura of these 4 women showed that they had cultivated the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. The women of the divine moon race and moon palace mainly cultivated the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra. Even if they didn't cultivate with men, they could absorb the divine power of the divine sun and divine moon to cultivate. For Qin Yun to be able to grow to his present state, cultivating the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra had played a huge role. It had greatly improved him and could also speed up his growth. Of course, he didn't master the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra himself. It was those women who cultivated it with him. Therefore, he was very familiar with the divine power aura of the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra and could sense it immediately. Generally speaking, those who cultivated the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra were considered to be on the same side. Furthermore, they were in Yu Tian's residence, which meant that they were protecting Yu Tian. Qin Yun could tell that although the four women cultivated the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, they were not divine moon women. That was because divine moon women had a unique aura. He secretly guessed that these four women were probably Yu Tian's confidant. I came to find Yu Tian. I am Qin Yun. Qin Yun said in low voice. He was certain that these four women were Yu Tian's confidants, so he directly revealed their identities. In this way, there was no need to explain too much. Otherwise, if they continued, they would fight and attract the attention of the heaven-creating deity palace, which would be very troublesome. After Qin Yun announced his name, the eyes of the four veiled women are filled with shock. They have naturally heard of Qin Yun, but they have never seen him before. They also don't know the relationship between Qin Yun and Yu Tian. Yu Tian is the palace master of the Heaven Creation Divine Palace, and Qin Yun has a conflict with the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. I am friends with Yu Tian. I have an urgent matter to discuss with her, Qin Yun said. After saying that, he secretly released his divine power. His divine power aura contained a weak divine power aura of the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. A man who could dual cultivate the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra with a woman could be said to be very rare. Therefore, this would give these women a sense of intimacy. Follow me, the tallest woman said in a low voice before walking towards the mansion in the small villa. When she walked over, she was still holding a token in her hand. Follow me closely. There are many traps here. If you fall into one, no one can save you. Qin Yun was not afraid of falling in. He was an expert in this field. He followed the woman and walked towards the mansion in the small mountain village. Miss, how should I address you? Qin Yun asked softly. Chun Yu. The woman turned her head, looked at Qin Yun and asked, Are you really Qin Yun? How did you get into Nine Cloud Sky City? Logically speaking, they wouldn't have let you in, or you would have been discovered when you came in. Qin Yun said with smile. I have my ways. By the way, how's Yu Tian? Palace Master, she. Let's talk about it when we see her. Chun Yu said in a low voice. She did tell me that someone would come looking for her during this period of time. I didn't expect it to be you. When did you two meet? We have known each other for a very long time. At that time, Myriad Heaven's Divine Desolate had not been formed yet. Qin Yun suddenly became somewhat worried and asked, Is she all right? Chun Yu only shook her head, making Qin Yun even more worried. The other three women also suddenly disappeared. It is not that they left, they have always been here. They are just hiding inside some formations so they can't be seen. This small mountain village is heavily guarded. There are many traps and they are all very well hidden. Moreover, they are all very strong. Once trapped inside, even Shin Tianjun would find it difficult to escape. Along the way, Qin Yun sensed many dark formations. They were all set up by Yu Tian. Seeing that Yu Tian can still set up so many dark formations, Qin Yun felt somewhat relieved. This means that Yu Tian's divine power is still very strong and her condition is very good. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to set up this kind of dark formation that has very strict requirements for runes. Chun Yu originally brought Qin Yun straight towards the mansion, but she suddenly went around it. Qin Yun can see that she is going around a dark formation. In this small mountain village, one must walk a specific path and have a token in hand to avoid triggering the dark formation. Yu Tian is very protective of him. It is clear that her current situation is not good. Chun Yu, how long have you been following Yu Tian? Qin Yun asked. When she came to the Heaven Creation God Palace, we were arranged to be by her side. We were originally not Palace Master's people, but Palace Master treated us very well, so we followed her. Chun Yu said. Qin Yun nodded his head. Yu Tian treats people very well. Being able to obtain her Sun and Moon Heart Sutra means that he has gained her approval. Outside of Nine Cloud Heaven City, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor also released his aura from time to time or roared loudly to prove that he is still here. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor wants to wait for the Heavenly Emperors to come. He wants to fight with them. How strong will the Heavenly Emperors who obtained a new body be? This is also what many people in Nine Cloud Heaven City want to know. What is the relationship between the other three great emperors of the Heaven Creation 5 emperors, Sorrow and Zhuyang? Qin Yun always wanted to know if the Heaven Creation 5 emperors were in the same group. Chun Yu shook her head. I don't know. My original master was not Sorrow and Zhuyang. Then which great emperor is it? Qin Yun asked. Chun Yu did not reply and continued to lead the way. Not long after, Qin Yun finally followed Chun Yu and entered the mansion. He sat in the living room and patiently waited for Yu Tian to come out. Chun Yu has already entered the inner room to find Yu Tian. She warned Qin Yun not to run around and said that there are many formations here. Qin Yun can naturally see that there are many formations here. If he were to trigger a dark formation, even he would be entangled and even cause a great commotion. Yu Tian came out very quickly. Qin Yun sensed Yu Tian's aura and just got up. He saw a beautiful white figure fly over. Big Brother Yun! Yu Tian lightly shouted and threw herself into Qin Yun's embrace. Yu Tian, what's wrong? Qin Yun gently patted her back and asked softly. Don't be afraid, I am here. Did someone bully you? Yu Tian's appearance is exactly the same as Bing Xing, but she is not as cold as Bing Xing. Yu Tian's temperament is very similar to Xieqiru, both are very gentle women. Yu Tian is different from Xieqiru, her gentleness also has a faint sweetness. Seeing this gentle and elegant beauty in his embrace, Qin Yun's heart seems to have softened. Chun Yu, who is at the side, is even more apprehensive. She did not expect that Yu Tian and Qin Yun would have this kind of relationship. Palace Master, Chun Yu went out to patrol. After Chun Yu finished speaking, she promptly left. Yu Tian gently pulled Qin Yun's hand and led him into the inner room. Qin Yun held Yu Tian's hand and at the same time secretly sensed the aura of her flesh and blood. There is nothing strange, it means that she is not injured. Yu Tian, what happened? Aren't you the Palace Master of Heaven Creation Divine Palace? Why are you in this place and there are so many dark formations here? Qin Yun entered Yu Tian's room and can still sense many dark formations. Yu Tian's dark formations are very dense. It is clear that she is very worried about being sneak attacked. Big Brother Yun, I am in danger. Yu Tian's curved eyebrows are lightly knitted, her snow-white as jade and sweet face is filled with self-blame. This is all because I was too conceited. I originally thought that I could change everything, so I delayed leaving Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Don't be afraid, I am here. Qin Yun gently patted the back of her hand and said with smile, Sister Bing Xing told me to bring you back. I will definitely be able to bring you back. I know you will definitely come. I am very happy but also very worried. I really did not want you to come. Yu Tian is very conflicted. Big Brother Yun is very strong now. When I was outside the city, I destroyed Zhuyang Great Emperor's body with my bare hands. Qin Yun said with smile. I can bring you out safely. Let's go, we will leave immediately. Yu Tian gently shook her head and said, Big Brother Yun, I still have things to do, I want to stay. Aren't you in danger? Qin Yun still does not know what kind of danger Yu Tian is facing. I want to stay and destroy them. Only like this can heavenly God desolate be at peace. Yu Tian's gentle and beautiful face is filled with determination, her voice is strong and firm. Qin Yun held her hand and said, "They are all descendants of Divine Sun, it is impossible to destroy them now. Yu Tian, you have been in the Heaven Creation Divine Palace for so long, you should know this better than me." Yu Tian bit her lips, she naturally knows this. She faintly sighed. But, if they continue like this, they will definitely become stronger in the future. At that time, they will kill Big Brother Yun. Qin Yun caressed her face and said with smile, "Don't worry, they can't kill me." "Oh, that's right, Yu Tian, did they bully you?" "They want to force me and heavenly emperors to cultivate the third layer of Sun and Moon Heart Sutra." When Yu Tian spoke of this matter, her expression suddenly became ice-cold. At this moment, she is exactly the same as Bing Xing. Qin Yun frowned, killing intent also appeared between his brows. He coldly snorted and said, "These bastards! Big Brother Yun, they want to control the myriad realms Divine Sun through our 9 Sun Divine Maiden." Yu Tian's expression is ice-cold as she said, "Especially those damned heavenly emperors. You are the Heaven Creation Palace Master. Won't there be any consequences for them to treat you like this?" Qin Yun asked. "Yes. That's why they don't dare for now. But very soon, they won't be afraid of anything." Yu Tian sighed and said, "I originally planned to exterminate them all before that day arrives, but I underestimated their strength, so I failed. However, I was trapped in 9 Cloud Heaven City." "Before that day arrives? Which day?" Qin Yun asked. "He is not afraid because he can bring Yu Tian out of 9 Cloud Heaven City." "Heaven Sealing Sun," Yu Tian said. "Once the Heaven Sealing Sun arrives, they will have nothing to fear. On that day, all the heavenly divine moon, myriad realms divine sun, and the power of countless stars will be sealed. This will last for 10 days. Why did the Heaven Sealing Sun appear? When will it arrive?" Qin Yun hastily asked. He has never heard of it before. "In the near future, I am also not sure when it will arrive. In short, when it arrives I can clearly feel it." Yu Tian's expression is solemn. "This is also a secret that I learned in the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. When the Heaven Sealing Sun arrives, the Through Heaven Sword formation might lose its effectiveness." Chapter 2541. Sealing the Heavens for 10 days, the divine desolate land will be isolated from the heavens. All living beings in the divine desolate land will not be able to sense any celestial bodies during this period of time. Yu Tian looked up, she is worried about this. The Divine Moon Clan has already entered the Heavenly Sword formation, so is the 9 Heaven Divine Palace. The main reason why the Heavenly Sword formation can be maintained is because of the divine power of the 10,000 world divine suns. Once the 10 days of sealing the heavens arrive, it means that the Heavenly Sword formation can be broken through. Why did the Heavenly Sealing Sun appear? Qin Yun took out the sound transmission divine pearl. He wants to send this matter back. 9 Xia Heavenly City's barrier is very strong, isolating it from the outside world. Therefore, Qin Yun is unable to communicate with the outside world using the sound transmission divine pearl. "I don't know why the Heavenly Sealing Sun appeared." Yu Tian gently shook her head. "I can't communicate with the outside world, nor can I go out. Chun Yu, I and the others are being watched closely by people. We can't leave this villa at all, so we can't send this matter. We need to send the news back." "So you want to stake it all on one throw and destroy them yourself?" Qin Yun sighed. Yu Tian wants to shoulder so much by herself, this pressure is very great. "As long as you are all fine. And I won't die." Yu Tian faintly smiled. "I am the 9 Sun Divine Maiden. But they are the descendants of the Divine Sun Divine Palace." Qin Yun shook his head. He placed his hand on Yu Tian's soft and beautiful face and gently caressed it. Yu Tian, I will definitely take you out. Leave this matter to me. Oh right, where are Sister Kiru and Sister Shangyun? Yu Tian asked. They are all in the Divine Moon clan. Qin Yun took out the token that Yu Shangyun gave him, which is the dagger. It is Yu Shangyun's Divine Moon Heavenly Spirit. This is Sister Shangyun's Divine Moon Heavenly Spirit, Yu Tian said in shock. Qin Yun said with smile. I am now the acting clan emperor of the Divine Moon clan. Sister Shangyun made me. Really? Yu Tian is somewhat surprised and said with smile. It's not easy to be the clan emperor. Don't be afraid, we will support you. Qin Yun suddenly recalled the matter of the traitor in the Divine Moon clan. He was not completely certain that there was a traitor, but he was very worried. Especially when the 10 days of sealing the heavens was about to arrive, it made him even more worried. Yu Tian, what do you think of the Dark Moon Duchess and Blood Moon Duchess in the Divine Moon clan? Qin Yun asked. Yu Tian was the 9-yang divine maiden and had interacted with Mu Yu for many years. Qin Yun wanted to hear her opinion. Big Brother Yun, why are you asking this? Yu Tian felt that it was a little strange. Could they be moles? I received news that they are spies planted by Mother Moon in the Divine Moon clan. Qin Yun sighed and said, I can't be sure if it's true or not, but I'm very worried. Why would Mother Moon plant a spy in the Divine Moon clan? This matter also puzzled Qin Yun and made him feel uneasy because once there was a traitor in the Divine Moon clan, it would cause great damage to the Divine Moon clan. In particular, the 2 spies were core members of the Divine Moon clan and were very strong. Yu Tian frowned as she pondered. She did not immediately give Qin Yun an answer. Clearly, she was also uncertain about this matter. She looked gentle and sweet, but she was not completely clueless. After all, she had been the Chuangtian Palace Master for a long time, and she had also fused with Yu Shi's soul. She was the 9-yang divine maiden and had lived for so many years. Big Brother Yun, it's better to believe it than not. Yu Tian pondered for a moment and said seriously, this matter needs to be secretly investigated. Send the most trusted people to pay attention to them. And I'll let Sister Rujing and Yaoshue go. Qin Yun nodded. If they were really planted by Mother Moon, it would be very dangerous. And Mother Moon has the possibility of planting them in the Divine Moon clan. Yu Tian's voice was very serious and also very worried. Qin Yun was even more alarmed by her words. His heart beat a lot faster and he quickly said, What do you mean? Why would Mother Moon plant a traitor? This is also what he can't figure out. Because Mother Moon was once one of the law enforcement great venerables of the law enforcement world. She used to be very protective of the heavenly rule orthodoxy, but because of some reasons, she left the law enforcement world. However, she still maintains a certain level of loyalty to the heavenly rule orthodoxy, and everything about the heavenly rule orthodoxy is deeply imprinted in her soul. Yu Tian said. Mother Moon was actually a member of the law enforcement world. Then this is a big problem. Especially when Mother Moon was about to die, she might have given some orders to the 2 traitors. And what kind of existence were those 2 traitors? They had been in the Divine Moon clan for so many years, did they not have any feelings for them? If there really is a traitor and knows that I am the Divine Moon clan emperor, then what will they do? Qin Yun suddenly became very worried and gritted his teeth. Damn the heavenly rule orthodoxy, why do they always go against me? Big Brother Yun, the existence of the Divine Moon clan has already violated the heavenly rule orthodoxy. Yu Tian's jade hand gently caressed Qin Yun's face and said softly, Don't blame yourself. If there really is a traitor, then they are not targeting you. The women of the Divine Moon clan were created through a very mysterious method. It could be said that their souls were not within the heavenly rule orthodoxy. Later on, when their souls were sensed by the heavenly rule orthodoxy, they were added in, causing the heavenly rule orthodoxy to operate. It created a certain amount of variables. Regarding this matter, Qin Yun had heard about it before. Mother Moon and the Divine Moon Clan were indeed close, but who knew if she also had thoughts of destroying the Divine Moon Clan? After all, she was once a law enforcer, so she must have been brainwashed. Let's leave the heaven-creating Divine Palace now. Qin Yun held Yu Tian's hand. He wanted to return to Divine Moon Heavenly City as soon as possible. As long as he was there, he could rest assured. Big Brother Yun, can you bring Chun Yu and the others? They have been with me for a long time and are trustworthy, so they have signed a soul contract with me. Yu Tian could only leave with Qin Yun because the Divine Moon Clan was facing a great crisis. All right. Qin Yun readily agreed. Call them all in. Yu Tian's 4 sisters were taught the Sun Moon Heart Sutra and named Chun Yu, Chiu Yu, Xia Yu and Dong Yu. Their strength is very good and they are very loyal and devoted to Yu Tian. After Yu Tian called them in, Qin Yun placed them in a room inside the 9 Sun Divine Soul. Qin Yun called out the little ant queen and let her bring him out of the city. Yu Tian and her 4 sisters are not weak, but they are unable to break out of 9 Xia Heavenly City. With the help of the little ant queen, Qin Yun easily left 9 Xia Heavenly City. What surprised him is that after leaving the city, he sensed 2 very dreadful divine power waves. Qin Yun is now very far from 9 Xia Heavenly City, and from the direction of 9 Xia Heavenly City, burst after burst of frantic energy waves, as well as heaven-shaking loud sounds. A battle has erupted over there. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor and Heavenly Emperors are fighting. At this time, Qin Yun took out a sound transmission divine pearl and contacted Yi Yaoxue and Xian Rujing. He learned that Blood Moon Duke and Dark Moon Duke have returned. These 2 dukes, who are suspected to be traitors, did not have any strange reaction after learning that Qin Yun is the current Heavenly Ghost Ancestor of Divine Moon Clan. Instead, they expressed that they are very welcoming. Their reaction is very similar to that of many Divine Moon Clan women. This made Qin Yun feel a lot more relieved. At this time, he also released Yu Tian and her 4 sisters. After they came out, they are very shocked. They did not expect Qin Yun to bring them out so quickly. Brother Yun, you are truly awesome. How did you do it? 9 Xia Heavenly City's barrier is very strong. I used many methods but still could not break it. Yu Tian is an inscription master, so she wants to know. Spatial Xian and helped me out. Qin Yun said with smile. So that's how it is. Yu Tian immediately understood because she knows about the Spatial Xian ant. Yang Shuriwei has 2 sprite avatars and fused with 2 Spatial Xian ant. Yu Tian also knows about this matter and studied it for a while. It is the battle between Heavenly Ghost Ancestor and Heavenly Ghost Ancestor. Qin Yun looked into the distance. Energy waves are churning over there. The sky is covered in dusky ghost energy. The 9 colored clouds of 9 Xia Heavenly City can no longer be seen. Even though Qin Yun and the others are very far away from 9 Xia Heavenly City, they can still feel the terrifying aura of Heavenly Ghost Ancestor. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is no match for the Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, Yu Tian said with frown. The Heavenly Ghost Ancestor did not use too much divine power, they directly used their physical strength to fight. Chun Yu said, if the Heavenly Ghost Ancestor can use their physical body to fight, it is definitely not the 9 Heavens' divine body. Qin Yun looked at Chun Yu and asked, I heard from Great Emperor Zhu Yang that their strongest physical body is not the 9 Heavens' divine body. What kind of body is that? It should be the legendary Heavenly Tyrant body. When the Heavenly God Desolate was formed, they stole the divine power that created the Heavenly God Desolate and strengthened it on the basis of the 9 Heavens' divine body. That is why they created the Heavenly Tyrant body. Yu Tian said, Yu Tian, when the heaven sealing 10 days comes, can we go to the Heavenly God Moon? Qin Yun asked. No. When the time comes, there will be a seal on the Heavenly God Desolate, we will not be able to touch the sun, moon and stars. Tian shook her head. As for why the heaven-sealing 10 days will appear, I also don't understand. The battle between the heavenly ghost ancestor and the heavenly ghost ancestor did not last long, but it was extremely intense. The heavenly ghost ancestor actually had the upper hand. You bastards, just you wait! The heavenly ghost ancestor roared. Suddenly, a spatial crack appeared near Nine Xia Heavenly City. The heavenly ghost ancestor tore through space and escaped. After the heavenly ghost ancestor obtained the heavenly tyrant body, he actually became so strong. Qin Yun exclaimed in admiration. He now does not have the confidence to destroy the heavenly ghost ancestor's body. Let's go, we will return to the heavenly sword formation, Tian said. I will go back and gather with my sisters. After that, we will go to a place. Where are you going? I will go with you, Qin Yun said. That is the mission of the goddess. I will bring Chun Yu and the others with me. I will complete this mission and try my best to ask Xin Yang about the heaven-sealing 10 days. Big Brother Yun, you stay in the heavenly sword formation, you need to preside over the situation there, Tian instructed. Chapter 2542. After Qin Yun brought Tian back, he hurriedly went to the Immortal Heaven pawnshop and entered the inner hall of the Immortal Heaven pawnshop. Then, he took out the book and contacted Heaven Destroyer. Grandfather, it's urgent, quickly come out, Qin Yun shouted anxiously. If the heaven-creating God Palace found out that Tian was not in the Nine-Cloud Sky City, they would definitely come to the Heavenly Sword formation immediately. Once the 10 days of sealing the heavens arrived and there were strong enemies outside, the Heavenly Sword formation would be in danger. Very quickly, the image of Heaven Destroyer's upper body appeared on the page. Little grandson, what's the matter? Heaven Extermination is very happy to see Qin Yun, he asked with a chuckle. What the hell is that heaven-sealing 10 suns? Qin Yun asked anxiously. The smile on the Heaven Destroyer's face immediately froze at the mention of the 10 heavens-sealing suns. His expression also changed drastically as he asked in shock, Why are you asking this? Where did you hear that? The 10 days of sealing the heavens is coming soon. Is there any way to prevent the heaven-sealing 10 suns from happening? Asked Qin Yun. Suddenly, a faint white glow appeared on Heaven Destroyer's solemn face. His eyes turned white and 2 spiral patterns appeared in his eyes. It was as if many runes were converging together, transforming into a spiral vortex that condensed in his eyes. On the pearl. Damn it! They actually used the heaven-sealing grand forbidden art. Heaven Exterminating Deity's expression was very ugly. Is it for me? Qin Yun clenched his fists and asked anxiously, Who did it? It's the law enforcement world. Heaven Destroyer was very anxious. He paced back and forth and shook his head. They're not here for you. They're going after the entire God's desolate. Why are you targeting the entire God's wilderness? Asked Qin Yun. Because of the formation of the divine wilderness, it will become the main gathering place for living beings. Above the divine wilderness, there were many souls that did not belong to the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxies. They could not even be sensed by the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxies. The reason for this was mainly because there was a force secretly resisting the heavenly rule Tao orthodoxy. It wanted to escape the heavenly rule Tao orthodoxy's control over the divine wilderness. Where did this power come from? I'm not sure yet. I suspect that it might be the center of the divine wilderness or the myriad world's divine sun. Furthermore, you and the divine moon clan are their targets. And the ancient desolation might also be the main target. The Heaven Destroyer looked very anxious. It was obvious that he was very afraid of the heaven-sealing 10 suns. Heaven-sealing 10 suns was to seal the connection between the earth and the heavens, because the energy of the earth mainly came from the heavens. As long as it was blocked, the strength of the creatures on the ground would be affected. In this way, the law enforcers could quickly eliminate all kinds of variables. As for Qin Yun, the #1 anti-heavenly villain, who wanted to correct himself, he would naturally become a target. What surprised Qin Yun was that even the ancient desolation was affected. It was evident that there were too many loopholes in the orthodoxy of heavenly rules and orthodoxy. That was why the great sealing heaven's forbidden art was used to rectify the loopholes. Then what should we do? Qin Yun asked. Grandfather, will you be affected as well? We came to the ancient desolate land to avoid the law enforcers. It can be said that most of the people in ancient desolation are famous in the heavenly rules orthodoxy. Heaven Destroyer said, I also don't know what to do, I can only confront the law enforcers. Qin Yun suddenly thought of his 9-son divine spirit. There are several divine sons inside. The immortal heaven pawnshop was also formed from the divine son of the heavenly universe, so it might be of great use when the time came. If he had a large amount of divine universe golden stones during the heaven sealing 10 days, he would be able to maintain the Great Formations operation. After Qin Yun cut off contact with Heaven Destroyer, he immediately contacted Ming Yunyue and Ming Yongtian on the Mystic Moonland. He asked them to help him gather a large amount of divine universe golden stones. He urgently needed them. In addition, Qin Yun also asked Ming Yunyue to find the Bright Moon sect leader and borrow as many divine universe golden stones as possible. He would definitely be able to repay them in the future. As long as he could endure the heaven sealing 10 days, it would be fine. As for the matter of repaying the debt, Qin Yun was not too worried. He could refine pills and talismans. Furthermore, the unfettered smoke he made was extremely good. He would definitely be able to repay the debt very quickly. Qin Yun headed to the center of the Heavenly Sword Formation. The Divine Inscription Mountain was here. The core members of the Inscription Gate were usually in the Divine Inscription Mountain. He gathered Mountain God, Xiaohua, Black Rat Bai Zhe, Ancient Ox Devil, Shui Yihui, Triple Radiance, Yi Shaosong and other core members of the Inscription Gate. The control of the Heavenly Sword Formation was mainly the responsibility of the Inscription Gate, so they understood it very well. Qin Yun gathered them to clearly understand that if the Heavenly Sword Formation could not absorb the divine power of the Myriad Realms' Divine Sun, then how much energy would it need to maintain itself? After their discussion, they found out that the amount of divine universe golden stones required was extremely high. Every day, they would need 5 million divine universe golden stones. In other words, if the Heavenly Sword Formation was to be maintained for 10 days, they would need at least 50 million divine universe golden stones. Qin Yun contacted Ming Yunyue once again and asked if she could help him gather 50 million divine universe golden stones. Ming Yunyue did not immediately reply. She also needed time to calculate. Qin Yun waited for a while before Ming Yunyue replied. She said that even if she borrowed Wang Haoyue's, she would only be able to gather 15 million divine universe golden stones at most. 15 million divine universe golden stones could only maintain the Heavenly Sword Formation for 3 days. To be able to maintain it for 3 days was already very good. If it was not possible after that, there was still the Heavenly Universe Divine Sun from the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop and the Divine Sun from the 9-Sun Divine Spirit. Old Mountain, can you control the movement of all the sword mountains? The area covered by the Heavenly Sword Formation is too wide. Let's shrink the area so that we can consume less energy. Qin Yun asked. Sure. Then let's shrink the area within the Heavenly Sword Formation. It's enough for several big cities. The Mountain God said. If we shrink the area, then 15 million divine universe golden stones can last for at least 6 days. Xiaohua calculated and said. 6 days, that's enough. Let's begin immediately. I will go greet the big shots of the various cities. Qin Yun first contacted Zhao and told him that the area within the Heavenly Sword Formation would shrink. The Heavenly Sword formation previously covered a large area, occupying a large area of the Sword Forest Desert. At present, they did not need such a large area. Although there were still several huge cities within the Heavenly Sword formation, even after shrinking, it was enough to accommodate them. However, it would not be as large as before, so it would not be as convenient when training. After that, Qin Yun let Little Palace Spirit and White Death contact 3i Heavenly City and 9 Yang Royal City to inform them. Many huge cities are currently in the second ring area, and within the Heavenly Sword formation, there are a total of 5 ring areas. Now, shrinking to the second ring area is enough. Qin Yun contacted Little Phoenix and told her to find Bai Suxin. Xieqiru gave Qin Yun 2 young embryos and told him to find Bai Suxin after returning to the divine desolate Great Land. Then together with Kong Feiqing Palace's Fei Yan's Gemini Heavenly Rune, they will create White Divine Sun. As for the other Yang embryo, it will be used to create a Myriad Realms Divine Sun. Qin Yun does not know how to create Myriad Realms Divine Sun, and he has the poisonous Sun Seed. In this kind of situation, he needs to create his own Divine Sunday. That way, even if Heaven Sealing 10 Sun arrives, he can use the Divine Sun's power to obtain quite a bit of power. Heaven Sealing 10 Sun will cut off the connection between Qin Yun and Myriad Realms Divine Sun, causing him to be unable to borrow Myriad Realms Divine Sun's power. After Qin Yun finished his preparations, he busied himself for an entire day. At night, he returned to Divine Moon Heaven City. He originally wanted to meet the Blood Moon and Dark Moon Kings, but they are in seclusion. Flower Moon King is also on his way back from hiding in Heavenly Emperor City. Hong Mengshu, Shimen Chuqian, as well as Yi Zixuan and other women, are following Flower Moon King. Qin Yun arrived at Fragrant Charm Pavilion and felt great pressure. If he did not have the Through Heaven Sword formation, he would have to resist the frontal attack of Heaven Creation Divine Palace, Law Enforcement Realm and Heavenly Divine Nations. Qin Yun did not tell anyone about this matter. At night, Yi Yaoxue and Xian Rujing arrived at Fragrant Charm Pavilion. They saw that Qin Yun's expression is not right and hastily inquired about the situation. Yu Tian has already left to complete Divine Daughter's mission. She will be fine, rest assured. Xian Rujing consoled Qin Yun. Qin Yun nodded and said with smile, "I told you to keep an eye on those 2 kings. Did they discover you?" "Of course not," Yi Yaoxue very confidently said with smile. Seeing Qin Yun's smile, Xian Rujing delicately leaned on Qin Yun's shoulder. Her charming eyes are looking at Qin Yun. Her eyes are filled with deep affection. "Little husband," Yi Yaoxue also said with charming smile, "let's go to sleep." Qin Yun's mood suddenly became a lot better under the tender affection of these 2 beauties. He doesn't know how long he stayed with them sweetly and finally fell asleep. After daybreak, Qin Yun woke up and did not see Yi Yaoxue and Xian Rujing. Little Phoenix also sent a message to Qin Yun saying that Bai Suxin is very busy and will go find him as soon as possible. Bai Suxin has Heavenly Law Heart Spirit. She can help other people master Heavenly Law Inheritance. Heavenly Law Inheritance is very mysterious. Qin Yun only learned that there are more and more kinds of Heavenly Law Inheritance. There are also very strong Heavenly Law Forbidden technique. He suspects that Heavenly Law Inheritance can be used to fight against Divine Sun Descendant. Because Heaven Creation Divine Palace and Divine Nations consider people who use Heavenly Law Inheritance as evil devils. Ming Yunyue will arrange for Heavenly Sha Battle Immortal and Ming Yongtian to deliver Divine Universe Golden Stones to the Heavenly Sword formation. Qin Yun is very grateful to Ming Yunyue. She has paid a great price to help Qin Yun gather so many Divine Universe Golden Stones. She did not ask Qin Yun what he will use them for. She also did not ask when he will return them. Tens of thousands of sword mountains are moving towards the center. In just one night, the Heavenly Sword formation's range has shrunk a lot. Many sword mountains have formed several circles, forming several layers of huge mountain walls. This sudden change caused the people inside the heavenly sword formation to feel very puzzled. They roughly guessed that a crisis is coming. Early in the morning, Shui Yu sent sound transmission to Qin Yun. Clan Emperor, there are many people outside the mountain wall. One of them claims to be Fire Moon Divine Race's Clan Emperor. What is he doing here? Qin Yun asked. He did not say. He only said that he wants to see Divine Moon Clan's Emperor. He also said that if Divine Moon Clan's Emperor doesn't come out, he will teach us a lesson. Shui Yu said. Chapter 2543. If it was under normal circumstances, Qin Yun would definitely ignore the Fire Moon Divine Race's Clan Emperor, who was clamoring outside and unable to enter the Heavenly Sword formation. This was because there were many people outside the Heavenly Sword formation who were challenging him. But right now, Qin Yun was worrying. The Fire Moon God Race's Clan Emperor was provoking him outside the Heavenly Sword formation. Naturally, Qin Yun had to go out and take care of him. He had to ensure that these small fries would stay away from the Heavenly Sword formation before the 10 days of sealing the heavens arrived. Not long after, Qin Yun arrived at the top of a sword mountain. Feng Yue and Shui Yue were waiting for him there. Clan Emperor! Feng Yu and Shui Yu shouted softly when they saw Qin Yun. They are very respectful towards Qin Yun, especially in this kind of situation. They will not try to seduce Qin Yun. Qin Yun nodded. He wore a heavenly hat and an inscription master's robe. He had come with the identity of the Nine-Yang Palace King. Standing on the peak of the gigantic sword mountain, Qin Yun looked ahead. The Fire Moon God Race's Clan Emperor had actually brought quite a number of people with him. There were more than 100 of them, and all of them were clad in flaming armor. Furthermore, each of them had a flaming crescent imprint on their foreheads. Qin Yun had previously seen the few people who had betrayed the Yu clan. Their attire was somewhat different from the Fire Moon Divine Race in front of him. Furthermore, there was no Fire Moon mark between their eyebrows. Other than the people from the Fire Moon God Race, there were actually quite a few other people, but those people all maintained a distance from the Fire Moon God Race. Qin Yun could not tell the origins of that group of people. He only felt that they were most likely here to watch the show. There were definitely people from the Heaven's Divine Kingdom and the Heaven Creation Divine Palace, but they were all hiding. There were a lot of people in the Divine Wasteland, and the Heavenly Sword Formation and the Sword Forest Desert were very famous places. Now that the Sword Mountain had moved and shrunk in one night, it caused a huge commotion. There were teleportation arrays in the Divine Wasteland, so the flow of news was extremely fast. Furthermore, there were people watching the Heavenly Sword Formation, so this matter attracted the attention of many parties. Is Tian Shixiang here? I need to see her. Ask her to come out. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man from the Fire Moon race. He had fiery red hair, a fiery jade crown on his head, and a fiery red flute in his hand. He floated in midair, his robes extremely long, releasing golden-red flames. They fluttered in the wind, drawing out a long robe shadow, looking extremely awe-inspiring and domineering. The Fire Moon Imperial Arch looked at Qin Yun. He felt that Qin Yun looked extraordinary, but he could not tell Qin Yun's origins. Why did she come out to see you? Based on what? Said Qin Yun coldly. Why? Because I am the Fire Moon Protector under the venerable emperors of all heavens, and she, Tian Shixiang, is destined to be the woman of the All Heavens Emperor Zun. I am here to bring her to the All Heavens Emperor City under the Emperor Zun's order. The Fire Moon Race's Emperor said loudly, as if he was afraid that others wouldn't know he was from the All Heavens Emperor City. Sovereign's Fire Moon Protector. Qin Yun was immediately infuriated when he heard that. Shui Yu knew that Qin Yun and Yu Shangyun had slept together before. She was very clear that the relationship between Qin Yun and Yu Shangyun was not ordinary. When she saw Qin Yun's expression turn incomparably cold, she was not surprised. She only said in a low voice, "Forget it, don't lower yourself to that person's level. He can't do anything to us. A dog like venerable sovereigns of all heavens is fit to have a woman? He's not even fit to have a bitch." Qin Yun's voice turned into a surging wave of air that reverberated forward. Just the power of his voice carried the vast and mighty power of heaven. Those who heard his voice were all shocked. Who are you? You dare to insult an sovereign, you are dead." The Fire Moon Imperial Arch was also shocked and shouted angrily. Through Heaven Sword Formation, Sword Forest Desert is the territory of Nine Yang Divine Palace. A stupid dog like you trespassed into my Sword Forest Desert and barked incessantly. The one who will die is you. Qin Yun sneered. You are Qin Yun? The Fire Moon Imperial Arch suddenly realized that the man wearing the hat was the famous Qin Yun. You are not fit to call me by my name. As Qin Yun's voice fell, the surrounding space fluctuated. He stepped out of the Through Heaven Sword Formation's barrier in an instant and appeared in front of the Fire Moon Imperial Arch. Fengyue and Shueiyue looked at each other in shock. They thought that Qin Yun would not go out. Even if he went out, he would make a series of preparations. But now, Qin Yun rushed out in the blink of an eye. This kind of suddenness exceeded everyone's expectations. This kind of speed made everyone dumbstruck. This kind of aura intimidated everyone present. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun appeared in front of the Fire Moon Imperial Arch. The supergravity brought along terrifying heavenly might, as if the heavens were pressing down. After the Fire Moon Divine Race's people were pressed down by the supergravity, they suddenly fell, and then another pressure rushed up from the ground. Supergravity Heaven and Earth Fusion. The two gravitational forces attacked from above and below. The power was extremely terrifying. When the Palace King made his move, heaven and earth shook. The 100 people of the Fire Moon Divine Race were all heavenly monarchs. They never thought that someone would dare to fight them one-on-one, because even the sovereigns of the heavens did not dare to directly charge at them. But now Qin Yun dared. This kind of boldness and might shocked everyone present in an instant. Even the Fire Moon Imperial Arch was deeply shocked and afraid at this moment because he did not feel this way when facing the sovereigns of the heavens. Kill! The Fire Moon Imperial Arch roared angrily. Through shouting, he broke through the fear in his heart. After all, they were all heavenly monarchs. Facing Qin Yun's heaven and earth unity with all his strength, they also had the power to resist. Boom, 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 boom. The bodies of the Fire Moon Divine Race's people madly emitted flames. Divine power surged out from their bodies, resisting the two gravitational forces of heaven and earth. The 100 people in front of Qin Yun were desperately resisting the attack. If they did not use all their strength, they would definitely be flattened and eventually be flattened into meat paste. Qin Yun single-handedly suppressed the 100 heavenly monarchs, causing the spectators from afar to suck in a cold breath of air and sweat to appear on their backs. Qin Yun held his hands behind his back. His eyes were cold, flashing with cold light. That kind of gaze seemed to look down on everything. Even the powerful heaven and earth did not seem to be in his eyes at this moment. His entire body was fluctuating with a powerful might that looked down on the heaven and earth. It was as if he could destroy the heaven and earth with a raise of his hand. Do you really think that you can stop me like this? Qin Yun's cold voice sounded like the call of death. You can't kill us. The Fire Moon Imperial Arch laughed angrily. Qin Yun, don't be arrogant. The sovereigns already have the heaven's tyrant body. They can destroy you with a finger. If the heavenly rule's orthodoxy says you must die, then you must die. Just as he finished speaking, 9 dazzling golden sacred tribulation gates appeared behind Qin Yun with a whoosh. The sacred tribulation gates were 10,000 feet tall, floating in the sky with divine light that shook the heavens. The person with 10 Tao images released 9 powerful sacred heavenly divine power, meaning that he had cultivated 9 sacred heavenly Tao images. And each of these 9 sacred heavenly Tao images had a sacred tribulation gate. The most shocking thing was that Qin Yun was only in the sacred God realm. As long as he could cultivate the last sacred heavenly Tao image and step into the Tao God realm, wouldn't he be able to beat all the heavenly monarchs? Just a moment ago, the Fire Moon Imperial Arch was very confident that the Empyrean sovereigns with the heaven's tyrant body could destroy Qin Yun with a finger. But now, he was so shocked that he could not speak a word, because Qin Yun could destroy him with a finger. A sacred God realm person could single-handedly suppress 100 heavenly monarchs of the Fire Moon clan with his bare hands. What kind of terrifying potential was this? If Qin Yun stepped into the heavenly monarch realm one day, how strong would he be? Wouldn't he be invincible in the universe? I only need to open one tribulation gate to destroy all of you. As Qin Yun spoke, a majestic and shocking sacred tribulation gate suddenly opened. The dragon's roar reverberated, the sound waves turned into monstrous chi waves that swept across the sky. The majestic dragon might could topple mountains and overturn seas. The divine dragon had yet to appear, but its power was already earth-shattering. The dragon power poured out of the gate and entered Qin Yun's body. In an instant, the power of Qin Yun's heaven and earth fusion increased rapidly. Ah! A few of the Fire Moon divine race people who were pincered by the supergravity suddenly screamed. All of a sudden, their bodies exploded from the pressure, burning with flames, completely destroyed. Roar! Qin Yun roared and opened the tribulation gate. Divine power surged out like a dragon's roar. More than 100 people were pincered by the supergravity. In an instant, their bodies emitted crackling sounds. Their bones were all shattered, and their bodies were in a mess from the pressure. Only the Fire Moon Imperial Emperor, who had a divine treasure to protect his body, was able to break through Qin Yun's heaven and earth fusion at the crucial moment and escape. But he was also heavily injured. Qin Yun took a step and chased after the escaping Fire Moon Imperial Emperor. He appeared in front of him and punched the Imperial Emperor's face. Boom! When this punch was thrown out, the shockwave seemed to cause the entire world to tremble. After the Fire Moon Imperial Emperor's face was hit, it cracked and exploded. His head is bleeding. Divine Kingdom's Fire Moon Protector? Is that all? Qin Yun raised his foot and kicked the Fire Moon Imperial Emperor with heaven-trampling berserk might. Just one kick was enough to shatter the Fire Moon race's emperor, who was wearing a mighty armor. The souls of the Fire Moon Imperial Emperor fled in fear. The souls of the Fire Moon Imperial Emperor are undying, but they need to rebuild their bodies. The Fire Moon Imperial Emperor was defeated miserably and his body exploded from the kick. And all the Divine Heaven Lord subordinates he brought with him were completely annihilated. Divine Heaven Venerable Emperor, you have repeatedly sent people to my Sword Forest Mountain Desert to cause trouble, and I have never gone to your territory. Looks like I should go to your place. I won't be like you, always sending some cats and dogs to make a fool of themselves. I will go personally. The 9 sacred tribulation gates suddenly opened. Qin Yun's voice reverberated from the sacred tribulation gates towards the distant heavenly Emperor city. Qin Yun wants to attack the heavenly Emperor city? It has always been said that the Nine-Yang Palace King was hiding in the heavenly sword formation, and now Qin Yun is finally going to counterattack. Qin Yun withdrew the sacred tribulation gate, activated the teleportation pearl and disappeared. No one knows where he went. Feng Yu and Shui Yu, who are on the Sword Mountain, did not even dare to breathe loudly. They have an initial understanding of how strong Qin Yun is. Clan Emperor is so handsome. Shui Yu faintly smiled after her shock passed. He wants to attack the Heavenly Emperor city? Is he going alone? Feng Yu said worriedly. Isn't he going to bring some people? Who can he bring? Whoever follows him will only become a burden. Shui Yu said with charming smile. Feng Yu, let's go back. When the clan emperor returns, even if he can't attack the heavenly emperor city, he will still scare them half to death. Chapter 2544. Qin Yun had released the 9 sacred tribulation gate. The sound waves from the gates reverberated in the sky and traveled far. All heaven's sovereigns could hear Qin Yun's voice even from far away. Knowing that Qin Yun was going to attack the city, everyone in the city started to get busy. All heaven's sovereigns were not afraid of Qin Yun. They even declared confidently that Qin Yun wouldn't be able to return. After obtaining the All Heaven's tyrant body, all heaven's sovereigns could defeat Heavenly Ghost Ancestor. Therefore, he was very confident. Now, no one dared to say that he was inferior to Qin Yun, let alone doubt his strength. All heaven's sovereigns could defeat Heavenly Ghost Ancestor with only Shin Tianjuan's cultivation level. This was proof of his strength. Many people knew that all heaven's sovereigns were very strong, but they also thought that Qin Yun was not weak. Therefore, they were looking forward to their battle. All heaven's sovereign city had become very strict. Unauthorized people were not allowed to enter the city unless they were core members. Leaving the city was allowed. In just one day, experts from all sides had arrived outside the city. All heaven's sovereign city's teleportation formation was placed outside the city. It connected to many places, such as 9 Cloud Sky City, Mystic Moonland, and Divine Court City. There were a lot of experts in these cities, so they would be able to reach the All Heavens Emperor City quickly. At this time, another piece of news came. Qin Yun had actually destroyed Emperor Zhu Yang's body and killed godly monarch Jiang Xian. This news was very shocking. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's name was very famous. After all, he was the father of all heaven's sovereigns. Heavenly Emperor Sorrow, Heavenly Emperor Zhu Yang, and Emperorian Supremacy had all had their bodies destroyed by Qin Yun. It was truly a neat family now. Everyone understood why great Emperor Zhu Yang had awakened the 9 heavens' divine body. It turned out that his original body had been destroyed. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor was wearing a black robe. His dark face was slightly wrinkled. His white hair draped over his shoulders. He floated in the air, emitting an oppressive ghostly aura. No one dared to approach him. Although Heavenly Ghost Ancestor had been defeated by the Heaven's Sovereigns, only the Heaven's Sovereigns were qualified to look down on him. Most people could only look up to him. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's cultivation level surpassed Shin Tianjuan's. What kind of realm was that? This was something that many Shin Tian lords wanted to know. Right at that moment, the Sun Dragon clan's Sun Dragon Emperor and the Heavenly Lion clan's Emperor arrived with a group of people of the younger generation. The Divine Judge also teleported over with the gods of the Divine Court of Myriad Worlds. The gods of the Divine Court arrived with a terrifying aura. The gods of the Divine Court, who were previously regarded as useless, had all become heavenly monarchs. This level of cultivation, at the moment, was the pinnacle of divine wasteland. Everyone suddenly recalled that Qin Yun had the godly king heavenly seal. He was supposed to be the godly king of the Divine Court. However, Qin Yun had never entered the Myriad Realms' Divine Palace, and the Myriad Realms' Divine Palace had never announced that Qin Yun was their godly king. Then, a burst of white light shot over. It's the White Sun Elf race. I heard that the White Sun Elf Emperor is also loyal to the sovereigns of the All Heavens, but he is not in the All Heavens' sovereign city. Someone sensed the special White Sun divine power and exclaimed. Following that, the clan emperors of the 8 Dao clans and the illusionary tribe descended from the sky with their elders. The Bright Moon Sect Master, Wang Haoyue, brought more than half of the Bright Moon Sect's experts. They also came out of the teleportation formation with great momentum. The other clan emperors of the Ice Moon Divine Race, Thunder Moon Divine Race, and Wood Moon Divine Race were all outside the city. When they saw Wang Haoyue, their expressions turned ugly because they were not doing as well as Wang Haoyue. Ming Yunyue, Ming Yongtian, and Heavenly Evil Battle God are all Qin Yun's friends. When they found out that Qin Yun had caused such a big commotion, they naturally came to take a look. They followed Wang Haoyue and planned to help Qin Yun at the critical moment. Outside the All Heavens Sovereign City, experts have gathered. Nearly half of the famous experts and powers of the All Heavens Divine Desolate Great Era have arrived. Just as everyone was waiting for Qin Yun to arrive, the earth suddenly trembled. The surrounding crowd who loved to watch a good show immediately became wild with joy, thinking that Qin Yun had arrived. They looked in the direction of the tremors and saw a very large altar slowly moving over. That is the Heavenly Law altar. How could Tian Dao Zi miss out on such a big matter? After the Heavenly Law altar arrived, Netherworld Great Emperor, Mog, Yun Long and other core members of the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop. They all landed on the Heavenly Law altar. When needed, they will all take action. On the surface, it seems that Qin Yun wants to attack the All Heavens Sovereign City and fight against the Heavenly Sovereigns. There are so many experts behind the Heavenly Sovereigns, and there is also the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. When the time comes, it is impossible for them not to help the Heavenly Sovereigns. If Qin Yun were to face so many people alone, he would be at a disadvantage. Tragic Heavenly Emperor and Zhu Yang Heavenly Emperor are already inside the All Heavens Sovereign City. Wang Haoyue was just outside the city, exchanging pleasantries with them, saying many hypocritical words. Everyone suddenly felt that Qin Yun would not come. Because from the current situation, Qin Yun does not have the advantage. Even if he brought all the experts of the Piercing Heaven Sword formation, they would still be far from the All Heavens Divine Kingdom and the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. What everyone is concerned about now is not how Qin Yun will attack the All Heavens Sovereign City, but whether Qin Yun will come or not. To the All Heavens Empyrean City, even if Qin Yun didn't come, they wouldn't suffer any losses. Instead, it would increase their prestige. Qin Yun had previously destroyed the bodies of their family of 3, so he was indeed powerful. Now that he did not dare to appear, it meant that the family of 3 terrified Qin Yun. In addition, Qin Yun had announced that he would attack the All Heavens Empyrean City with great momentum, alarming half of the All Heavens Divine Wilderness. But in the end, he didn't go himself, which would definitely make people feel disgusted. There should be many of Qin Yun's friends outside the city, right? You can tell Qin Yun that no one will laugh at him even if he doesn't come. After all, he's just a rat. It's in his nature to be timid. The All Heavens Venerable Sovereign's mocking voices echoed from the Emperor's city. From within, just as All Heaven Venerable Sovereigns finished speaking, a majestic and terrifying divine power suddenly poured down from the sky, causing the earth to sink by half an inch. As for the people outside the All Heavens Emperor City, as long as one was not at the Lord of Heaven realm, without anyone to protect them, they would be pressured by that sudden aura to the point of vomiting blood and being seriously injured. Is Qin Yun here? Someone shouted in fear. Because that aura is truly too terrifying. Such a huge piece of land was instantly pressured down by the aura. This kind of power is simply too terrifying. Many people retreated in fear, distancing themselves from the All Heavens Emperor City. The Lord of Heaven experts outside the All Heavens Emperor City also looked at the sky with grave expressions. Old cousin is here? Ming Yongtian said with pleasant surprise. It's not Qin Yun, it's the law enforcement world. Wang Haoyue's gaze was grave as she looked at the sky. I didn't expect that this would even alarm the law enforcement great sovereign of the law enforcement world. It's not Qin Yun who caused such a shocking commotion, it's the law enforcement world. The law enforcement world that was in charge of the heavenly law orthodoxy finally took action. The heavenly law orthodoxy determined the fate of a large number of living beings, and the law enforcement world that could control this mysterious heavenly law orthodoxy naturally has incomparably terrifying strength. Suddenly, a ball of light appeared high in the sky. Not long after that ball of light appeared, another ball of light appeared in succession. In just a moment, the sky was densely filled with rows of light balls. Those light balls were arranged very neatly, releasing a very strong golden light. He estimated that there were at least 10,000 of those light balls, and they were all in the sky above the all heavens Emperor City. It's still the law enforcement world's extravagance, 10,000 suns descending to the heavens. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor exclaimed. 10,000 suns descending to the heavens? Those balls of light were all divine suns? 10,000 divine suns suddenly appeared just like that. When everyone heard Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's words, they were all moved and let out cries of fear. The law enforcement world had made a move, and there were over 10,000 divine suns. What were they trying to do? Within the Heavenly Tao altar, Tian Daozi's expression was incomparably grave. 10,000 suns descending to the heavens, what is the law enforcement world doing? Wang Haoyue was also alarmed. Is such a big movement from the law enforcement world really aimed at Qin Yun? Qin Yun's strength is far from enough to make the law enforcement world make such a big move. Then who is it aimed at? The law enforcement world's move caused many experts outside the All Heavens Emperor City to fall into panic. Even the White Sun Fairy Emperor and the others were secretly afraid. With the law enforcement world doing this, let alone one Qin Yun, even 100 of them wouldn't dare to come. That's right, this move is 10,000 divine suns. If I were Qin Yun, I would find the deepest hole to burrow into and hide. Disperse, Qin Yun won't come. Everyone was discussing, many people were certain that Qin Yun would not come. Previously, Qin Yun had exterminated the Fire Moon Clan's great emperor and the others outside the Heavenly Sword formation. After announcing that he was going to attack the All Heavens Emperor City, he used the teleportation pearl to teleport away. He had already decided to attack the All Heavens Emperor City, but he did not immediately go. Instead, he first arrived outside the Nine-Cloud Heaven City. Outside the Nine-Cloud Heaven City, Qin Yun looked at the ball of light in the distant sky. With a glance, he could tell that it was 10,000 divine suns. Is the heaven sealing 10 days coming? Is that the heaven sealing great forbidden art? Qin Yun thought to himself. Before the heaven sealing 10 days, the threat of the heaven creation god palace was extremely great. I'll give it a try and see if I can flatten the heaven creation god palace. He had just received many messages from his friends. There was the spatial god, nameless old man, Tian Daozi, Ming Yunyue and others. They constantly asked Qin Yun about the situation and advised him not to attack. They even said that the Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Emperor Zhuyang were already in the All Heavens Emperor City. I can't endure it now. Before the heaven-sealing great forbidden art is activated, I must do my best to heavily damage the enemy's lair. Qin Yun could still draw upon the divine power of the myriad realms divine Sunday combined with the divine sun inside the 9-sun divine spirit. His strength would reach an astonishing level. Chapter 2545. The number of people in Nine-Cloud Sky City has decreased a lot. Most of them have gone to Heavenly Emperor City. Heavenly Emperor City is not far from Nine-Cloud Sky City. It only takes 2 days to fly at high speed. Based on the relationship between Heaven Creation God Palace and Heavenly Divine Kingdom, if Heavenly Emperor City is in trouble, Nine-Cloud Sky City will naturally go and help. In other words, there are hundreds of thousands of Nine-Cloud Sky City experts rushing to Heavenly Emperor City. There are tens of millions of people in Nine-Cloud Sky City. At least hundreds of thousands of them are working for Heaven Creation God Palace. When Qin Yun entered Nine Cloud Sky City, he could clearly feel that there are fewer people here. He didn't think of deliberately luring people to Heavenly Emperor City. He just felt that when he was going to attack the All Heavens Emperor City, he must teach the Heaven-creating deity palace a lesson. In case Heaven Creation God Palace went to help Heavenly Emperor City, or after Heaven Sealing 10 days, Heaven Creation God Palace will bring pressure to through Heaven Sword formation. I inadvertently implemented the diversion plan? Qin Yun is also quite surprised. At this moment, it is the best time to attack Nine Cloud Sky City and Heaven Creation God Palace. Qin Yun walked on a large road towards the huge Heaven Creation God Palace in front of him. From afar, the Heaven Creation God Palace looks like dozens of towering mountains crouching on the ground. It is very huge. When he came to Nine Cloud Sky City before, this road was very lively. But now, the number of people has obviously decreased a lot. As he walked, he thought about how to bring the greatest loss to Nine Cloud Sky City. It is not easy to destroy Heaven Creation God Palace in a short period of time. In the Heaven Creating Deity Palace, Sorrow and Zhuyang, the two great Earths, went to the All Heavens Emperor City. Heaven Creation 5 Emperors and the other 3 Emperors, if they are in Heaven Creation God Palace, they will definitely come out to stop Qin Yun. Qin Yun has a way, but he doesn't know which is the best. He opened his heavenly eye and looked at the sky above Heaven Creation God Palace. He saw 9 huge divine bird phantoms circling in the sky. The 9-colored divine bird looks very auspicious, as if it brings the best luck to the entire Nine Cloud Sky City. But after getting closer, he found that the 9-colored divine bird's eyes are full of resentment. After discovering this, Qin Yun was shocked. The divine bird died miserably here, and even had its flesh cut, bones broken and soul sealed. It's impossible for it not to have any grievances. Qin Yun took a deep breath and thought to himself, could it be that there's a luck-changing array here? There must be an expert in this field who can turn resentment into 9-colored good luck. Ling Yun'er said, if the soul of the divine bird from the 9th heaven has not completely melted, it will definitely be sealed. If we can release this vengeful spirit, wouldn't that cause chaos in Nine Cloud Sky City? It must be underground. Qin Yun found a place without people and immediately dived deep into the ground. Yang Yang had said before that the 9 heavens divine bird was dead. However, Qin Yun believed that the soul was still there. It was just sealed, or perhaps cut and sealed. If the 9 souls and 9 spirits were sealed separately, it would be very difficult to sense them. Qin Yun used the penetration divine art to burrow deep into the 9 cloud heaven city. Not long after, he sensed a seal underground. What made him laugh is that the seal is actually the Heavenly God Seal Restriction. The Heavenly God Seal Restriction is a very strong seal. It can be said that other than Qin Yun, it would be very difficult for anyone else to break it. To Qin Yun, this kind of thing is like paper paste. Back when Qin Yun was weak, he could already break the Heavenly God Seal Restriction. Now that he is so strong, even if the Heavenly God Seal Restriction is stronger, it would be a piece of cake in front of him. He did not touch the Heavenly God Seal Restriction because what is sealed inside is only a soul. Under the 9 cloud sky city, there are still the 8 souls and 9 spirits of the divine bird. Qin Yun plans to break the 18 Heavenly God Seal Restrictions at the same time and free the divine bird's soul. This is not difficult for him. He carved a set of Nether Sun Totem on the Heavenly God Seal Restriction. As long as he controls it, after the Nether Sun Totem circulates, it can devour the runes of the Heavenly God Seal Restriction and destroy them. What a brilliant technique, to actually use the 9 souls and 9 spirits of the divine bird to set up a formation. The Luck Change Great Formation is set up using the 9 souls and 9 spirits of the divine bird as the foundation. Qin Yun quickly found the second Heavenly God seal restriction. After finding the second Heavenly God seal restriction, he thought about it for a bit and the layout of the luck change great formation appeared in his mind. The location of the other Heavenly God seal restrictions have been deduced by him in a short while. I wonder who set this up. It's really brilliant. If not for me, no one would have been able to destroy it. Even if someone knew that there is a Heavenly God seal restriction below, they would definitely be devoured by it. Qin Yun found the rest of the Heavenly God seal restriction one after another. Divine restriction. Moreover, there are many trap formations in between each Heavenly God seal restriction, mainly to prevent people from entering and destroying the formation. Qin Yun found all 18 Heavenly God seal restrictions and covered them with a set of nether sun totem. After he finished, Qin Yun immediately left the underground and moved his divine sense. The nether sun totem immediately activated and began devouring the Heavenly God seal restriction. Qin Yun took advantage of this moment to quickly leave the 9-cloud sky city. He doesn't know how strong the divine bird soul is. He also doesn't know what kind of commotion it will cause after it comes out. He only knows that it will be very dangerous inside the 9-cloud sky city. Outside the 9-cloud sky city, Qin Yun used sound transmission divine pearl to secretly contact Mog. Granny Mog, what's the situation over there? Qin Yun asked with voice transmission. The situation is very bad. Xiaofun, listen to Granny Mog, don't ever come to the Heavenly Emperor City. Mog immediately replied to Qin Yun, hide and grow wretchedly, you will definitely be stronger than them in the future. Tell me about it. Qin Yun is actually very casual, he is not the least bit nervous. Mog roughly explained the situation of the Heavenly Emperor City. After Qin Yun finished listening, his heart did not fluctuate at all. He said with smile, Granny Mog, wait patiently, I will be there soon. Xiaofun, why do you not want to live? If you go on like this, my family's Xiao Ro will become a widow. Mog's sighing voice sounded. When Qin Yun heard Mog's words, he felt indescribably happy. He said with smile, Granny Mog, we will meet again. He cut off the connection and quietly looked at the distant 9-cloud heaven city. The situation of the Heavenly Emperor City is that experts have gathered and there are myriad suns in the sky. It can be said that the Heavenly Emperor Venerables have already gathered all the power they can and the law enforcement world has also joined in. Once Qin Yun goes there, he will have to face many powerful enemies. The Heavenly Emperor Venerables also said that they will wait for Qin Yun for 7 days and 7 nights. They are waiting for Qin Yun on the other side, but Qin Yun is sitting on a mound with a blade of grass in his mouth, looking at the 9-cloud heaven city. It hasn't started yet? Could it be that the divine bird soul has already been sealed and is very weak? Qin Yun waited for a while, but there is still no movement from the 9-cloud heaven city. Impossible, if the divine bird soul becomes weak, then the 9-cloud heaven city's luck won't be that strong. Qin Yun thought to himself, the divine bird soul is very powerful. Furthermore, the 9-cloud heaven city absorbs the divine power of the myriad realms' divine sun and injects it into the heavenly god sealing restriction to nourish the divine bird's soul. The divine bird's soul is maintaining the soul's vitality. The divine bird came to the heavenly god desolate for nirvana because it was invited by the myriad realms' divine Sunday. Originally, the myriad realms' divine sun wanted to create a powerful divine bird to protect the heavenly god desolate, but it was destroyed by the heaven creation god palace. The divine bird is undergoing nirvana. Once it succeeds, it will definitely be extremely powerful. Its strength might even surpass Shen Tianjuan's. With such a divine bird, it will definitely be able to intimidate one side. Qin Yun suspected that Yu Tian's mission as a goddess was to save the divine bird, but she did not do it and the myriad realms' divine sun did not seem to blame her. If that's the case, then as the divine king, I have to help the divine bird. Seeing that there is no movement from the 9-cloud heaven city, Qin Yun decided to go in and take a look. Just as he was running over, the ground slightly trembled. There's movement! He was ecstatic and immediately stopped in his tracks. Then, he quickly retreated and maintained a distance from the 9-cloud heaven city. The people inside the 9-cloud heaven city are all very outstanding. They all noticed the weak tremor just now and realized that something was wrong. They immediately floated into the air. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the sky above the 9-cloud heaven city. The 9 beautiful divine bird phantoms have disappeared. The good luck of the 9-cloud heaven city had already disappeared. Instead, it was shrouded in a dark and gloomy aura. What made Qin Yun happy was that within the gray-yin energy, there was actually a blood-red color. This was a sign of great misfortune. Boom! A loud sound rang out as the 9-cloud heaven city's great city protection formation suddenly collapsed. There were still tens of millions of people in the city. They all let out cries of bewilderment as they scattered in all directions. The earth suddenly split open. In the middle of the 9-cloud heaven city, the heaven creation god palace, which was formed by dozens of mountain-like palaces, suddenly floated up. The reason why the heaven creation god palace floated up was to prevent it from being destroyed. This enormous palace's movement speed was not fast. At this moment, it was as if it was fleeing for its life as it slowly floated towards the divine nations. A sharp and ear-piercing cry, as if it could pierce through the clouds and split rocks, rushed into the sky from the ground. That incomparably ear-piercing cry caused many people who flew out of the 9-cloud heaven city to feel a stabbing pain in their ears, and many of them even bled from their 7 orifices. Even Qin Yun had to circulate his imperial heaven divine power to protect his body and soul from being penetrated by the sound wave. So strong! Is this only the power of the soul? Qin Yun is also extremely astonished. He is chasing after the heaven creation god palace. He can't let the heaven creation god palace fly towards the divine nations. The sound wave released by the divine bird through the soul is already so astonishing. Even if Shen Tianjun was hit by the sound wave head-on, his soul would probably scatter and he would die. Qin Yun flew in the air and looked down. He was suddenly given a fright. The entire 9-cloud province's land is actually bulging up. It's like a big bump. Suddenly, flames burst out of the bulging bump and sprayed into the sky. Whoosh! A shocking whistling sound erupted from the ground. The entire 9-cloud province turned into a sea of fire in the blink of an eye. The slowly floating heaven creation god palace is currently flying above the sea of fire. It is constantly trembling, as if it is shivering. Chapter 2546. 9-Cloud Heaven City is completely finished. All of this happened too fast. Even Qin Yun did not expect that releasing the divine bird's soul would have such a good effect. At the same time, he is also very surprised that the divine bird's soul is so powerful. The divine bird's body is under the 9-Cloud Heaven City. The heaven creation god palace cut off its flesh and bones, pulled out its tendons and peeled off its skin to make a powerful puppet body. As long as the heaven creation god palace needs it, they will dig out some materials from the divine bird's body, and it will be enough for them to make a puppet body. The divine bird's body is definitely very good. The 9 heavens divine body of Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Emperor Zhu Yang was refined using the divine bird's body as the core foundation. The divine bird's soul is sealed underground, but it is still very powerful, so it can sense the condition of its body. For many days, the divine bird could deeply feel its body being ravaged from time to time. Now that it has broken free from the seal, the divine bird's soul erupted with anger and directly destroyed the entire 9-Cloud Heaven City. The Heaven Creation God Palace has a strong defense and it can also fly in the air, so it is still fine. However, if the divine bird comes out from the ground and catches up with the Heaven Creation God Palace, it might be destroyed in the end. Xiao Yun, hurry up and seal off all the space channels. Ling Yun hurriedly said. Heavenly Emperor Zhu Yang and the others must already know what happened here. Maybe they are rushing over. If they fly at their fastest speed, it will take at least a day to rush over from the Heavenly Emperor city. If they use space teleportation, they can arrive in an instant. There should be a teleportation formation inside the Heaven Creation God Palace, but at this moment, the surrounding space is fluctuating and has not stabilized yet. Once it stabilizes, Heavenly Emperor Zhu Yang and the others will definitely rush over. Qin Yun immediately released the little ant queen and let her sneak into the dark space. Once someone tries to open a space channel to teleport over, she will immediately stop them. This is simply a piece of cake for the little ant queen. After the little ant queen sneaked into the space, she can still maintain contact with Qin Yun. Qin Yun also quickly learned that there are 3 types of spatial divine power fluctuating, preparing a space channel. The little ant queen can also sense that the 3 groups of people who open the space channel are all quite far away. One of them is the Heavenly Emperor City. There are 3 groups of people coming? Which 3 groups of people? Qin Yun frowned and said, the All Heavens Empyrean City is one of them. Could the other 2 be 2 of the Heaven Creation 5 Thearchs? He thought carefully and thought to himself, Sorrow and Zhu Yang are both in All Heaven's Empyrean City. In addition, there were 2 other heaven-creating emperors in 2 other places. They all had to rush back to the heaven-creating deity palace. In other words, in the Heaven Creation God Palace, there was only one. The Emperor of Creation is here. If there was only one heaven-creating Thearch, Qin Yun would be able to deal with him easily. Just as Qin Yun was thinking about how to completely destroy the Heaven Creation Divine Palace, the earth suddenly trembled and a rumbling sound shook the sky. All of a sudden, a volcanic crater that was thousands of miles wide appeared on the ground, spewing out flames and rolling black ash. This divine bird, why is it so big? The area where Qin Yun was also covered in black ash and flames. He quickly activated the Sun Heaven Shield to defend against the flames coming from all directions. Even if he didn't use the Sun Heaven Shield, he could still block it. Using the Sun Heaven Shield could prevent people from ambushing him in such a situation. Once someone ambushed him, the Sun Heaven Shield could block it. The world seems to be filled with thick black ash. Qin Yun stretched out his hand and his palm is full of black dust. What's going on? Could it be that the flame is so strong that it burned the earth into black dust? Qin Yun is secretly shocked. What kind of divine bird is that? Isn't this kind of divine bird too terrifying? Yang Yang is a very strong divine bird, but from the looks of it, Yang Yang is far less powerful than this mysterious divine bird. Qin Yun originally wanted to let Yang Yang out and let her see what kind of divine bird it is. However, thinking that it is very dangerous in this environment, he dispelled the idea. He is still not sure whether the divine bird is an enemy or a friend. If it is a very bloodthirsty kind, once it sensed the existence of Yang Yang, maybe it would eat her. Xiao Yun, the divine bird should be out of the ground. You have to pay attention, Ling Yun'er said. Fortunately, there is no evil power. Although the divine bird has a lot of resentment, it is not evil. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and paid attention to the movements around him. The Heaven Creation God Palace is also completely shrouded in black ash, and its flying speed has become even slower. It looks like it is being held back by the thick black smoke between heaven and earth, causing it to be unable to move forward. Maybe I don't need to do anything. Qin Yun looked around, looking for traces of the divine bird, but he did not find it. If the divine bird is very huge, he can quickly find it using his heavenly eye, but now he can't see it at all. Everything around him was grayish-black. At that moment, Qin Yun felt like he was in darkness. The thick black smoke completely blocked the light of the 3 myriad realms' divine suns. Qin Yun cannot see the light of the myriad realms' divine suns at all. What kind of divine bird is this? Qin Yun cannot imagine how strong this divine bird is. With its own strength, it can destroy 9 cloud heaven city. Now, the divine bird is still entangled with the huge heaven creation god palace. One must know that the heaven creation god palace has all kinds of powerful formations and there are all kinds of energy sources inside. Although the flying speed of the heaven creation god palace is slow, its defense is very strong and it is not easy to destroy. Xiaoyun, maybe the divine bird is not sealed by the heaven creation god palace. Ling Yuner said, judging from the current situation, the heaven creation god palace can't do anything to this divine bird. Qin Yun frowned and said, could it be that it was sealed by the law enforcement realm? Does the law enforcement realm not allow the myriad realms' divine sun to give birth to this kind of powerful divine bird? Ling Yuner felt that it is very possible and said, maybe the divine bird was originally going to be killed by the law enforcement realm. Later, it was saved by the myriad realms' divine sun, but in the end, it was still sealed by the law enforcement realm and was even suppressed by the heaven creation god palace. If that is the case, then what happened before makes sense. No wonder those heavenly gods' seal restriction are so good. The person who set up the formation also knows how to change luck and many other methods. Qin Yun also suddenly realized that this is the seal of the law enforcement realm. Qin Yun flew in the thick black dust and suddenly smelled something strange. He tried very hard to open his heavenly eye, wanting to see through the thick black dust, but he could not see through it. What the hell is going on? Why is there so much black dust? I can't see through it even when I open my heavenly eye. I can't see the myriad realms' divine sun at all. Qin Yun looked around and said with a frown, I can only see the heaven creation god palace, I can't even see the earth. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, let Yang Yang come out for a while. She must know what kind of bird this is. This little girl is not weak, what are you worried about? Alright. In order to figure out the situation here, Qin Yun can only let Yang Yang come out. After Yang Yang came out, Qin Yun immediately grabbed her little hand and did not let her run around. Yang Yang, what kind of divine bird is that? The big move it made is very strange. Qin Yun asked. What surprised Qin Yun is that Yang Yang is actually very afraid. She floated in the air, hugged Qin Yun's arm and whispered, Big brother, I am afraid. Don't be afraid, Big brother is here. Qin Yun quickly touched her face and said, I will let you go back now. He immediately let Yang Yang go back. Yang Yang has always been fearless. She often complained that Qin Yun did not let her go out to fight. And now, just as she came out, she was scared back. This is very rare. After Yang Yang returned to the 9 Sun Divine Soul, she lightly shouted, Big brother, you are in the stomach of the divine bird. That's why you can't see the divine sun. What? I am in the stomach of the divine bird? Qin Yun jumped in fright and exclaimed, How is this possible? The Heaven Creation Divine Palace is also there. The Heaven Creation Divine Palace is so big, it is like dozens of towering mountains. Is it also in the stomach of the divine bird? And this divine bird is called Kuan Peng. It is very big. Yang Yang nodded and said, Don't mention the Heaven Creation Divine Palace, even the stars and moon will be swallowed in one bite. Qin Yun was suddenly dumbfounded. He had released an incredible thing. He carefully recalled the moment when the black ash appeared. It turned out that the divine bird opened its mouth and swallowed the land and everything in the sky in one bite. Just opening its mouth and it has this kind of effect. How big is it? What shocked Qin Yun the most is that he did not even feel himself being swallowed. He inexplicably entered the stomach of the Kuan Peng. Yang Yang, this Kuan Peng is really big. Do you think the other pearls of my 9 sun divine soul can hold it? I really want to raise one. Qin Yun fantasized for a moment. If he had this kind of super giant bird, whoever he was unhappy with, he would directly go and swallow their nest. I don't know. This Kuan-pung should be a dark Kuan-pung, not an ordinary Kuan-pung. Yang Yang shook his head and said, I suspect that this great Kuan-pung has eaten the nether sun. Qin Yun originally hoped that the divine bird would go and destroy the heaven creation divine palace, and then he would go and pick up some trash. The result made him not know whether to laugh or cry. The heaven creation divine palace was directly swallowed by the Kuan-pung. Yang Yang, what will happen inside the Kuan-pung's body? Qin Yun also began to feel anxious. If he could not get out, it would be terrible. After a long time, it will be refined. The black ash outside is very corrosive. After hundreds of thousands of years, no one will be able to withstand it. Yang Yang said worriedly. Big brother, quickly think of a way to leave the Kuan-pung's body. Don't worry, I will definitely be able to get out. Qin Yun immediately flew towards the heaven creation divine palace. Before going out, he wants to destroy the heaven creation divine palace. Outside the heavenly emperor city, no one is discussing whether or not Qin Yun will come to attack the city. Instead, they are discussing the fall of the 9-cloud heaven city. Because news came from the divine moon. Someone saw a super giant flying out of the divine desolate land. More than half of the 9-cloud province was swallowed and the heaven creation divine palace was unable to escape. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.